This special episode of Mob Rules brought to you by free review product we've been sent by people in a sponsored kind of way. Free review product for extra episodes of Mob Rules. Oh, man. Oh, the Four Loko is ripe today. I could smell that. Today I am enjoying a watermelon Four Loko. And Danny, what are you enjoying today?
It's a green apple.
And they both.
Why do we pick green tonight, Joe?
We picked green because the embargo's lifted. We can finally talk about it. We're here to talk about Codex Orcs.
Yeah.
In Orktober. Now, it took every being. I really wanted to just not release this until November 1st. Oh, embargo be damned. Other podcasts be damned and just be like, yeah, we're sticking to this no Orc October thing. Like a no Fab November, no Orc October.
Oh, God. What a terrible month.
Oh, yeah. It was right around the corner. But no, we have received a little review copy of Codex Orcs. Orcs was one of my first armies. Danny, I know you have a sizable Orc force as well.
Dude, I am pumped.
Dave, do you have an Orc army? Oh, no, he doesn't. That's why he's not here.
That's right.
So, yeah, no Dave today.
We temporarily kicked him off the podcast.
Yeah, because we're really hyped to talk about orcs.
And he just would bring us down.
Yeah. As I said at the top of the video, we want to thank the wonderful people who provided us with this advanced copy of
Absolutely.
the Ork Codex. However, please bear in mind we are usually overwhelmingly positive about stuff anyway. Getting to see it first in no way changes our positivity
Absolutely
about things.
not.
So yeah, we're a little out of order. We just did an episode last week, and we have this unannounced episode this week. Like we were talking about, we changed our release schedule to be on Saturday or every other Saturday, because of things like this. Because we get cool things in the mail,
Absolutely,
that we want to kind of share and put out. The embargo for this lifted out of recording loop for us, so we thought we would come in real quick and kind of give our girlish opinions of that.
And they are girlish.
They're very girlish.
Yeah.
Very girlish. Because for all of the Warhammer 40k for whiners, I mean, it's been a good month for me for Facebook likes. Let's put it this way for going on to that thing. Codex Orcs, and we're going to get more into it later, makes Orcs one of the best armies in the game.
I can't wait to see how this is going to shape the meta, or change it out.
Oh, that's awful. I just took a drink of Four Loko. Oh, watermelon.
You know, this isn't half bad. Like this apple one. Honestly, I really think I got the better end of this.
I think so. I think it looks like it's the Indiana Jones thing again. It's like you chose poorly. But yeah, so before we get into kind of what we're excited about here, Danny, which is kind of like the meat of how the army works on the table now.
Sure.
Let's talk about a little bit about the background. Something we were both excited about because of the updates to the 40k timeline with the with the I always get it wrong. This is Cicatrix Malediction.
Yeah, I think it's
Cicatrix Maledictum.
Yeah,
the big scar across the galaxy that came from Cadia's either complete fineness if you're from the Imperial side, or
it's fine.
Cadia's destruction from everyone else's, and kind of how it's affecting everyone in the galaxy. And I've kind of liked in every codex how they've kind of advanced that storyline across a little bit there. So what's happened here from the Orc perspective?
So basically, the Orcs are celebrating the Cicatrix Maledictum.
They call it Gork's Grin.
Right, yeah, because it looks like a big smiley face to them. Which is, wow, that is Orky, man.
Yeah. I think I love about it, I read in the Codex that they view it, because demons are obviously spewing out of the Cicatrix kind of into the real world in this massive warp tear. And they still view it as like this holy Gork's Grin because Gork can't stomach demons, so he's vomiting them all up for the Orcs to go fight.
Sense. Yeah. It's like a bunch of treats.
Yeah.
So,
you get a demon, and you get a demon, and you get a demon.
Have fun fighting, boys. So, the codex kind of details some of the new Waaaghs that are going on and how the directions are going. And to be honest, They almost look like Tyranid high fleets, and they take
They
up a
really
significant amount of the
There
Imperium.
is a lot. I think I liked as well. They point out Gazgul Thraka, kind of like in the end of the last codex, he'd kind of disappeared to regroup and regrow this great Waaagh, and now they say like they don't know if it's the Maledictum, but he's literally everywhere right now. They said they're like it can be, but he's in 4 places at once.
Yeah, they have like maybe 6 spots on the map marked out, like on the galactic map, on where he's like randomly popped up.
Yeah.
So,
And while they're still kind of close together, no, they're not even close together. They're in all sectors of the galaxy.
right.
And what this gets me hyped for is if we look back to our Beast Arises series where we're reading about like the great big Primorcs, like the 6 big warlords.
Sure.
Maybe this is like a racist human thing where it's actually different orcs, but
Right, they just look
Gazgul
like
sized.
Gazgul, right?
Yeah, just kind of all about the galaxy.
Which awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, they are everywhere now. This is a bunch of different Waaaghs. I like seeing here Danny's notes here that Nazdrag is getting a ton of love, which is great because he is one of my favorite war bosses.
Oh yeah, like not even close. It talks about how he like barters with Gazgul to trade him the teleporter technology.
Any random laughter you hear tonight is us laughing at each other's facial reactions for drinking for Loco.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Who drinks this?
When
We-
did this
we
be,
do.
when
We
did
do.
this become a bit for our podcast?
Why do we keep doing it? But yeah, like Nazdrag gets a couple of great mentions in there, and he has a Waaaghs going on currently, which is awesome. And I'm like a big Bad Moons fan, so that's what I get excited about. I think it's right there.
He is. Oh yeah, Waaagh Nazdrag is up beside Valhalla.
Yeah, watch out, Valhalla.
Yeah, watch
You're
out.
about to get
Stoned,
sure, cool.
bouldered, whatever it is, teleporting rocks into things.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but there is a ton of Waaaghs. It's like the galaxy is turning green, and it kind of goes along with the fact that, you know, this is kind of the 2-minute to midnight galaxy scenario, and kind of orcs are rising and breeding and kind of getting more and more aggressive.
Sure.
And something like the Maledictum is only going to increase that more because it's just making it easier to fight.
Absolutely, and they do mention here too on Vigilus, the like where the kind of the focus of the narrative is right now.
Yeah.
The force fields that were like the warp fields that were protecting the cities have fallen, and so now the orcs are coming out of the wastes after racing around in the Speed Freaks game and that kind of lore to go attack the cities.
Yeah.
So
I love the idea of there being force fields around these hives. And the orcs just being like, well, screw that. I don't care about that. Let's go race.
let's go.
Just go race in the desert. And someone's like, hey, that force field's done. Oh, sweet. Let's go murder.
Yeah.
Murder. But yeah, so that's kind of the lore. I like the Beast Arises is being worked into there more.
For sure.
So like for previous codexes, it would just say like the greatest orc warlord known as the Beast came to be in this time. Now it explains and talks about the attack moons, about how far they got,
Sure.
and kind of getting there. That's all being added in. I didn't see any kind of real other expansions on existing war bosses. You still got the dude who went back to the past accidentally, then killed himself to get a second copy of his favorite gun.
The best.
You still have Tuskilla, you know, the fighting on the demon world and just dying over and over again and being like incredibly happy about that. It's like being his life.
It's the best. It's the best day ever.
You get all that kind of classic orc lore and the 3 different wars for Armageddon. And I really hope after all the codex releases, we get campaign supplements. Because right now Armageddon is prime for a supplement. Because you have Khorne demons, you have Imperial Guard, you have orcs. One would assume Space Marines would be there too right now.
Eventually,
so. Yeah. I'm really prime for campaign supplements coming out. Fingers crossed. That's how you fix
hopefully
Marines.
that comes. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's some point drops, but regardless. Yeah.
So is there anything else you wanted to say about the background just now, or what else you got?
No, that kind of covers like the background of the book that I wanted to go over.
Yeah.
Really great descriptions, and I like the little timelines that they're doing now with the little stories about everything, and then they go through the various clans and they with the various clan cultures and kind of what they emphasize and things like that, which is cool. And for the first time ever, they have rules and background relief for freebooters.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was some in Rogue Trader, or like really super early edition 40K, but they're kind of back as a separate culture,
right? And like, I'm sorry, what I mean is in modern 40K.
Oh, not Dave 40K.
Right, yeah. God, so he's not even here.
Oh
We still got to make the old jokes. It's just
I just gotta
Falls
put on
into
my
familiar
soundboard
patterns.
where it just has Dave saying, "That's fine," okay, and then it'll be like he was never gone. But yeah, freebooters are kind of being respect because if you read the stories, kind of the background in the prior codexes, because I know like Danny, both of us have pretty much had every Ork Codex since like 1992 and beyond. They are a very distinct culture and how they interact. I mean, for a while they were like comedy orc pirates,
Right.
but now they're kind of being almost kind of respected. And I think I read an interview with, or I saw on the Warhammer TV community channel, an interview with Forge World about saying how the Beast Arises series is a way of resetting and kind of getting the orcs in earlier.
Which is awesome.
Right, about kind of like the Titanicus time, because the way they're presented in that is so far away from kind of like the Cockney gangster, you know, like comedy act. And really, I think fits well with 40K right now.
And I feel like they've really doubled down on the brutality aspect
Yeah.
in this codex. So, yeah, I mean, like, okay, example in the last, what is that? The boss poll,
Yeah,
which are great, awesome work GW on those. Those are hilarious. But they do talk about like eating people,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff, which is something I think they've kind of tried to steer away from a little bit. But they
Right.
definitely talk about, oh yeah, Space Marines are tasty as long as you can get the armor off.
right. And then like in Beast Arises, they had factories where they kept humans to eat later. It was like that free range human factories. So yeah, they're really kind of doubling down on the fact that these guys are perfect. I think there's a quote in the Codex as well from like an Eldar Farseer that's like he's jealous of orcs because they want for nothing. Like they're perfectly happy. They know who they are. There's no kind of weird politics. All they need is a bigger orc to tell them what to do and a smaller orc to punch. And if they have those things, they are happy as shit.
Yeah, super happy.
Yeah, they're super happy. They don't want anything else in life.
Which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
So that brings us to kind of our next talking point, the artwork in the book.
Oh
Man,
yes.
they just keep getting, like, the battle scenes that they have in this are just
so good.
so cool. They do a lot of like callbacks to some of the old like clan symbols and stuff that like Wayne England used to draw, and man, they look so rad. And in addition, adding pictures of like an illustrated artwork for all of the new models.
Yes.
As well, and they look awesome.
One thing I really like about it, we're looking here at page 52, 53 with the Death Killer War Trikes and the Rocket Truck Squig. Like, it's a similar artistic style,
right?
And like, and it looks like I have like the Warboss edition from the last Codex.
Okay.
Where it comes with all of the different covers and stuff from all the Ork Codexes, and they look great.
Cool.
Right, and this here, just this is some just really nice hangable art, to be honest, because it's a similar style. It all looks great. It really emphasizes the speed, and like the quality there is just, it's fantastic. One thing I like about it as well is it's a consistent style throughout as well.
For sure.
Whereas I think a lot of the times before they would be like, okay, you draw an orc art, and you draw an orc art, and you draw an orc art, and you draw some glyphs, and it was kind of, all of the art was great, but there wasn't kind of like a cohesive story throughout.
And it was a little disjointed and stuff.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
So some people were drawing orcs like as the old school like comedy relief characters, and there's others who were going for this more kind of brutal aspect of it. But it's very cohesive in this codex about how they're presented.
For sure.
Which I super enjoy.
Yeah, there's a picture of like a battle scene of like an orc warboss like chopping through a bunch of dudes that like with his axe outstretched. That's new, and it just looks phenomenal. Super happy about this book. Like just the artwork and like the painting is cool. Like they've definitely done some painting for new models and stuff like that.
It's clean, it's crisp. Like Gazgul's being repainted for the newer thing.
It seems like like
I said, everything is very brutal but crisp. Kind of they really go to town from the looks of it for the studio army on the orc skin as being the standout part of it.
Right.
So the green is a lot more vibrant this time, I feel. And sticks out a lot more. But what that does is it really kind of draws either the eye to the skin or kind of points out like on the buggies or the vehicles, kind of it draws to there because it's such a juxtaposition between kind of the orc skin and just the beat up metal, which just looks
and like that dull kind of metal and then like that vibrant green. So it's going to take me some time working in my Beats lab really to kind of get like a good idea of that green color.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully next week or whenever they start releasing Orc tutorials, Duncan will just tell me how to do it.
That'd be
just
nice.
Do it that way.
I heard there's some one of the studio painters like gave a recipe for it, and apparently you start by mixing Averland Sunset with with one of the greens.
Yeah.
To like
my Warboss, I have from back in the day. I painted using the skin tutorial from an old heavy metal masterclass in an old white dwarf, and it's like 3 different it's like mixes of like yellow, white, and green, and kind of like moving up and like purple on the lips. But yeah, I saw that as well. They kind of released that skin recipe, and I think some people were like, "Wait, what the hell? This is too complicated."
Sure.
And you're like, well, yeah, that's it. It's like, yeah, the Duncan tutorials are great, but sometimes I want to know, hey,
like, what's the masterclass?
What's the masterclass way of doing it?
For sure.
And yeah, and everyone's like, yeah, like I'm going to paint 200 boys like that. I was like, well, that's not the point.
Sure.
You do your 1 or 2 standout models.
Do the characters like that, and then you can bust out an easier technique for the normal boys. Like skip some steps.
Yeah, that's all it takes. Make them all yellow. Yellow boys.
Exactly.
But yeah, it all looks great. The layout's great. It follows a similar layout and standard as every 8th edition codex we've seen so far. But again, to me, that cohesive artwork really kind of helped
for sure
here.
Awesome.
So the models.
Oh man,
let's talk about Orktober's highlights of the. I know a lot of people are salty because they didn't get a new gas or new things like that.
Sure,
but you got 5 new units for the Ork Codex this year.
6.
Is it 6? Oh yeah, the
mech shop.
The mech shop. Yeah. 5 good units this year.
Oh wait,
and a scenery piece.
I missed one. There's actually 7.
There's 7
because I missed the war trike on my list here.
Oh yeah. So let's start with the Rucka Truck Squig Buggy.
Oh man, how cool is that?
I just like saying it.
I like saying all of the names for the various different buggies. Like they are super. They're awesome models and.
What I like
names.
about the Rucka Truck is obviously set up, and I think it's nice that each of these vehicles is set up like as a different clan, or kind of like,
and they give one to every clan,
right?
Except for freebooters, but freebooters
they would just steal one.
Yeah, they can just steal whichever one they want.
But this one is kind of like the snakebite one, updates the aesthetic to me, whereas before people were like, "What do you mean they're not Native Americans riding boars and things like that?" Like, yeah, going by the old ways, 38,000 years in the future, they can have a car.
Right. Yeah, it turns out
that
they can steal like a Subaru Brat and stick some.
The thing is though, like I said, just their ammunition being the squigs.
Oh,
yeah. A lot.
And those are the different squig types or ammos. Like,
I really want to get one just so I can have one of the weapons it has is a squig mine, where you just drop a squig on the table, and then whenever anyone goes near it, it blows up. I want to just paint and build that one little. I want a confused, like sad-eyed squig. It's just being kind of left
Why'd
alone.
You leave me behind?
Boom. When he
upset.
gets super sad, he blows up.
Yeah,
that's how it is. But yeah, it's kind of it's an updated goofy orc thing
for sure
to me. So it has that modern orc brutality, but it does kind of a few callbacks to the earlier stuff,
which is great. I mean, like, because it calls back the Squigapult, right? Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, that's exactly what this is. A fast-moving Squigapult.
Yes.
So, and then the next on the list, we have the Shock Jump Dragster, which we briefly talked about in our last podcast.
Yeah.
But I've just painted mine is painted,
built and painted,
and I brought it over, and oh my god, what an awesome model! Like,
looks like an F1 car or like a little Indy car, things like that.
Yeah, totally. And it's so sleek and like kind of like super low to the ground. I wonder how well it takes like off road, but whatever. They're orcs. I'm sure the boulders go over it.
Yeah, I just imagine it being like
teleport.
Being like the princess from Wreck-It Ralph, you know how like they glitch all
sure.
along the place, like, and that's just how it moves the whole time. So like the orc's like, yeah, it's really low to the ground. I have no clearance, but he's not actually moving.
He's not actually there. Yeah, but like the targeting squig on it is great. Like he's got a little bionic eye, and then there's a grot with like a Atari controller that controls the squig for aiming purposes. And then there's another grot hanging off the side with all the ammo that he like sticks into the gun to shoot, which is so cool.
So good. I like about it rules wise that if you roll more than 4 or more in an advance, you have to shock jump somewhere.
Which is so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And random and bizarre. And it means like if I'm playing against an orc army, my backline better be really freaking solid. Otherwise, holy hell, I'm going to have this random roadster like in the backfield.
Right. And charging you.
And charging me, potentially.
Because like it has close combat weapons. Anyway.
The Boom Daka Snazwagon.
Man, okay. The Boom Daka Snazwagon is by far
I don't know how you can say
favorite.
any of these names without laughing or feeling joy.
Or just even smiling, right? Like,
Yes.
so the Boom Daka Snazwagon is the Death Skulls kit or wagon, so to speak. And they have like they've got like a guy with a bunch of Molotov cocktails on it that they throw out. So they're all like and then they have a big like mech special gun on the back, and there's grots all over it, like shooting the big shooter, and there's a guy with a grot blaster too, and it's again such a good model.
And we on these all of these as well, we see kind of the continued evolution of the ramshackle rule, which with this one is just it blows up in a 4+.
Right, yeah.
So they fairly reliably blow up.
Just that one.
Oh, is that just that one?
Yeah, because it's volatile. It's full of bottles of fuel.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's so good. And it's fast, and oh man, there's all of these buggies are super good. We have the custom Booster Blaster, which I think that's the one that
that's the one that you're painting up right now.
I'm building right now and painting.
Man, it's so cool too.
It kind of has that look of kind of like a hot rod or like a dragster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or something like that. There, lots of exposed metal on it. The engine,
the engine in that
joy
thing,
to build,
dude. That thing was the engine on the shock jump is like 6 parts that all like line up together like a circular like cylindrical engine in the back, but like
let me see here. It's 1, 2, at least 14 pieces on this engine.
Oh, really?
But it's like half the car. So
yeah, that's true. Well, it's got to go fast, man.
It's got to go fast. I liked some details I really liked on the Booster Blaster. The driver is hardwired into the buggy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you look at his spine, he's being wired into the buggy. And part of the background of the wagon, it talks about one of them who was just like a former pilot who just got like wired in after he crashed.
Sure.
There's a couple great little grots on here, and I think grots really make orc vehicles. There's one hanging off the back, just shooting his little pistol wildly, hoping to God it hit something. There's another one kind of really just trying to, it looks like cranking nut with a wrench that's twice the size of him.
Exactly, yeah.
And then we have the gunner on top there with the weapon. And all of these kits they're very different, very characterful. And kind of like when people say like, oh, we only got 5 new buggies. It's like, no, I mean, if we take the word buggy out, you got 6.
Right.
Very unique looking units. I mean, it would have been so easy to release one buggy kit and then upgrade sprues like Imperial Knight style.
Oh, yeah. But then they wouldn't be nearly as unique as they are.
No.
They all look like, what's that cartoon?
Wacky Races.
Yeah, they all look like cars from there, kind of like in that. So like,
we're getting super hyped, and one of the reasons we're finishing these runs is so we can film some Speed Freaks races.
Yeah, dude.
Because we want to just wacky race the hell out of it based on how cool the models are.
I need to make a squig named Muttley.
Where it would be like Mork Masterly.
Yeah, there you go.
Or Gort Gasterly. And then I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to find out what the rest of the wacky racers were called because I don't remember at all. We also got the Megatrack Scrapjet.
This is my second favorite one.
Okay, this is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Based on the background, because when we read the background section, it talks about how orc pilots are a special breed, and they have like. They're like Speed Freaks times 1,000, where they have to like Ricky Bobby go fast times like 1,000,000, and sometimes they crash, and sometimes everything burns, and new planes are very expensive. So it's
strap some wheels to it.
It's described as the Megatrack Scrapjet is a cheaper option to get them there high. It's like some kind of opioid or something. like that.
Sure, they're adrenaline junkies.
Yeah, they're adrenaline junkies, and I said it's a cheaper way, and it keeps them getting their high while they're waiting to get enough teeth to buy another plane again. And I love that kind of idea that it's just like, well, this will do just now, I guess.
And that thing has so many guns.
So many guns.
Yeah.
They strap everything on that thing, and it describes it as you just point to enemy, go. And
yeah,
they talk about doing strafing runs, and I'm like, you're a car.
It looks like, you know, it kind of looks like one of those old school land jet or like land rockets that they used to use for speed tests.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's almost, and I think I want to get one painted up like the Mag 5 from Speed Racer, because it has like that kind of similar.
The Mork 5.
Yeah. Oh God, we're just punning it. I love it. It's so good. Yeah.
I love the aviator like jacket that the bomber jacket, and then the what's it called, the scarf that he's got flying behind him too.
Yes. Do you think we could get him like a squig for Tom Cruise hair?
Ooh, hair squig. That's
hair
a
squig.
real. That's a real thing.
Yeah, those are real things.
Yeah.
They're all bald, but apparently top knots. Maybe they saw Abaddon once many times. Top knots make them really hardcore.
And then finally, for the new buggies, we've got the HQ choice for these guys.
The Death Killer War Trike.
Yeah.
The spiritual successor to Waaaghs.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Pretty much. I mean, for years, Danny, I know you have as well, been using the Forge World model as Archnark the Ripper.
Sure.
And he's been great. This War Trike is a great model, which you know is the part we're going to focus on just now. And I love the idea of this, and it's almost like they made, and I think Tom Walton, the guy who does a bunch of their vehicles, had a hand in a lot of these kits. But it's almost like they forced all of the designers to kind of sit down and watch Mad Max Fury Road
like a bunch of times,
and then okay, now go design stuff. Because if I was an orc speed freak, I want to go fast, but I don't want to drive. I think I've evolved past that. So yeah, I
want to hit stuff with a claw.
Yeah. So it's like the ultimate combination of speed and drive me closer so I can stab this thing.
Sure.
And
which is super 40K, right?
Super 40K.
Yeah.
And like I say, I see this kind of chariot laden Warboss kind of coming into battle there. And a lot of the lists I'm looking at and things I'm looking at doing have one of these Wartrikes on there.
He makes all the rest of the buggies better, but we'll talk about that when we talk
we'll
about
talk about that later. The final thing that was released as part of Orktober was the Mech Workshop. Man, which continues an unfortunate line of beautiful Games Workshop scenery kits with not very good rules.
But the model itself is cool.
Amazing.
Right? I mean, like, it's got a rad, like, Orc totem at the top, and it looks like it has a movable, like, lift for engine blocks.
Yeah, it has an engine block on there. It has, like, the crane arm coming down.
Which looks like a power claw. I feel like that might wreck your vehicle pretty good.
I feel it's going to be a power claw at some point.
So in the game you can use it?
Yeah, no, but I feel like I'm going to
sure, on a model.
I will buy that kit, and I'm going to rip it apart and just use it for parts.
Nice.
Because, yeah, like, that engine block is great. All of the stuff in there is just fantastic, and it's a nice centerpiece to a display board.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is how, I mean, it's the same way I view the Webway Gate, right? I love the Webway Gate model. I have not been able to find a way to make it work on the table, but I still have it. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're going to display board, and you'll look great, and you'll kind of add thematically to that. So
I've seen some really cool display boards with Webway Gates.
Yeah, for sure. But I think we'll go later on. I think I have a way to kind of make it work, sort of.
Okay. Yeah, I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, we'll get on to that. But yeah, so let's go ahead. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to move on to the rules, because I think that's got, like, you and me the most direct.
I'm so yeah.
Dude, I'm the best. I took first place at another tournament.
First off, stop with the thunder and lightning. You don't impress me. And second, let me check out the BCP rankings. And I don't see you on there.
What?
Your TO needs to download the Best Coast Pairings app and run events on it. After the event, the results are uploaded into BCP rankings, and the best part, it's easy and free.
But I play multiple game systems.
No big deal. The BCP app can be used for any game. A ton of events every weekend are using it, from major international tournaments to local stores. And now that it's available on Android devices, you're going to have some serious competition.
There can be only one.
BCP Rankings is a fun and exciting way to measure how you or your team stack up. No matter what you play, your score goes to an overall ranking. or compete to be the best in a game, a circuit, a region, or the world.
Download the app or visit www.bestcoastpairings.com for more info.
Best Coast Pairings.
Are you the best?
All right.
This codex might be the best.
This codex is the best. Holy cow. Who wants to buy like thousands of points of Craft World Outlaw? So let's go through some rules. Starting kind of with the universal rules that are kind of mostly army wide here. The first big change is to Here We Go. The kind of the ubiquitous rule to kind of help them get into combat. Before in the index, and I want to say 7th edition as well, the rule was that you could re-roll one of your charge dice to get into combat.
Sure.
Yep. Now, in the new codex, you can roll one or all or any of the dice.
Right. Oh my god,
Which,
that's so powerful.
So good. You're pretty much guaranteed to charge 80% of the time.
Yeah. Well, okay. So 9 inches with the full rerolls is like a 60% chance of getting in for no CP, which is what a lot of people will spend a CP to make that charge.
Right.
So, and then if you're, well, we'll get to the cultures in a minute, but Evil Sons have an even easier time doing that.
Yes, they do. So yeah, that's the kind of the main universal special rule that kind of stuck out to me is changing hardcore.
The other one that they did too is they did give Orcs objective secured, as you would expect.
Yeah.
Which is called
This is ours, Zogoff.
Yeah, what a great name.
Which is a great name. Which again just gives any if you're battle forged, your troops get objective secured.
And then they made it so flash kits are always freebooters, but they don't count against your culture, your clan for taking that rule. So they don't get the benefits of the freebooters rule, the freebooters culture, but they don't count against, like, if you have a Goth army and you want to take some
flash kits,
like, it doesn't count against you.
So that doesn't mean your entire detachment won't get
exactly
Goth, just because you want to take some really good guns.
Sure, yeah, and flash kits are much better now too.
So good. They also Grots still have no culture. So any
Poor
units
Grots.
of Grots that you have cannot be used. They can't use any culture unless it specifically states.
Right, or stratagem.
Or stratagem, which we'll get into a little later on with the Savior Grotocol.
Sure.
Which is very, very good
very
there.
good. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the main kind of army-wide abilities. Cultures are kind of the army-wide traits that we have coming in.
They're the Orc chapter tactics.
The Orc chapter tactics, yeah. So we have 7 different chapter tactics now for Orcs.
So yeah, awesome.
And there's it's hard to pick.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, they're all pretty good in their own way, but they're good at different stuff.
Right. So we have the Goths, your usual kind of get it, like punch in, aggressive Orc clan. Tell me about their culture.
So Goths, anytime they roll a natural 6 to hit, so not a 6+, so if you get bonuses to hit, you don't get bonus attacks. But anyway, if they roll a 6 to hit, they get an extra attack. So it's kind of like Daka, but for close combat weapons.
So that's super good because they're going to still get Daka for their shooting.
Right.
And then when they get into combat, they're going to get Daka.
Choppa.
Choppa. Yeah, I was going to get Daka for their fist, but that's even better. And it's not limited to just infantry.
No, it's everything.
It's everything. And this is all the cultures are everything. So vehicles, buggies, dreadnoughts, everything. Squiggiths. Oh, God. It's still not great, but it makes it a little better. But it's a really good one, especially if you're looking at a more close combat orientated force.
For sure.
If you're throwing 30 boys up the table, that's 90 attacks right there. Having
120.
I'm sorry, 120 attacks. I'm sorry, I was talking about shoot boys, obviously.
Oh,
but it's 120 attacks. So if you like at mathematical average, that's 20 further attacks that are going in there.
Right.
Which is just nuts for something that is free. This is not a stratagem. This is something other armies, like I think Eldar have a stratagem to explode on 6s in close combat.
They do.
They have to pay command points. Every other army has to pay
100%.
command points. This is free for a Goth army. It's amazing, but like I'm going to be like a really bad infomercial because wait, there's more.
Yeah. That makes Goths even better in close combat.
Yeah. Bad Moons.
Okay, so Bad Moons, my favorite clan. Those are my boys. Theirs seems a little bit lackluster. It's reroll 1s to hit in the shooting phase. So like comparatively to some of these other ones, it's going to seem like off the cuff. Yeah, that's only okay. But I think combined with some of the stratagems, like their clan stratagem, and then also some of the units, I think reroll and Daka.
Yeah.
I think they really can throw out an insane amount of firepower.
I think really to maximize the arm to the teeth, the Bad Moons culture is playing to Orc strength and just rolling as many dice as possible.
Orc Bad Moon Warbikes are I think are awesome.
Yeah.
I think they're really good.
The whole thing is super good. And like I said, with the stratagems and a couple other things, there's ways to really make Bad Moons one of the top cultures available here. We have Evil Sons.
Yep.
With
Red ones go faster.
Red ones go faster.
Of course.
You add 1 to move characteristic of models with this culture, or 2 if the model is a speed freak.
Yep.
So that's getting your boys across the table quicker.
Even faster.
Even faster. It's getting your vehicles across the table even faster. That's a Stompa has +2 to his movement because he's an Evil Sons. Gargantuan
just
Squiggoth.
one, right? Because he's not a speed freak.
Right. But still, it's extra,
extra
extra movement.
Sure. 13 inches there, plus he's going to get an extra... Oh, in addition to that, right?
Yeah.
They also get +1 to advance and charge rolls.
Yes. So they can technically charge 13 to 19 inches.
Which
is insane. A lot of this Orc stuff is going to be able to work together to get turn 1 charges on your opponent.
Oh, for
with
sure.
a large portion of your army.
I think it's really doable, especially since Orc Warbosses lets you advance and charge.
Yes.
Or the War Trike,
right, which
lets you advance
vehicles.
and all your vehicles advance and charge, which is awesome.
So good. Death Skulls, Lucky Blue Gets.
Oh, and red ones go faster. Also lets you shoot assault weapons without advance and shoot assault weapons without the penalty.
Which for Orcs,
that's
lifesaver.
amazing.
That's 5s instead of 6s, where that means a lot. Death Skulls, Lucky Blue Gets. This is my Orc army is painted as a Death Skulls army, and this is one of my favorite cultures here. All the models have a 6-up invulnerable save.
Amazing.
That alone would probably make me go, okay, that's really good, because my T-shirt armor save is now like a permanent T-shirt armor save.
Right, because war paint.
Right. In
but
addition,
that's not all.
All infantry units in the army are objective secured.
Yes, that's the best.
Which is insane that
That's
I
so
can
cool.
have a weird boy in my back line be objective secured over a strike squad of like 10 Grey Knights.
Sure.
I mean, he's not going to survive, but fuck, he's going to score that objective that round. So all infantry units have this. And again, this really fits thematically with the way the Death Skulls are.
Sure.
And kind of that culture is. And it doesn't seem overpowered.
Yeah. And there's more.
And there's more.
You can reroll a single hit, a single wound, and a single damage roll for each unit every time it shoots or fights. So it gets to reroll 3 times every time it shoots or fights.
I had completely overlooked that thing. And that is ridiculous.
And that's a damage roll too.
Do you know why it's ridiculous? It doesn't say failed.
No, sure, yeah. So you can reroll.
So if you're shooting at something and it's minus whatever to hit, and you usually would have hit, it doesn't matter because you can reroll successes.
Right. That's awesome.
That's really okay. New favorite. I'm gonna break up with Bad Moons. Death Skulls are my new best friend. Our snake bite culture, the old ways. You roll a dice each time a model suffers a wound, and it's a 6+ feel no pain.
Basically, in a nutshell.
It doesn't stack with anything, but again, having that survivability, even if it's a 1 in 6 chance of models which have a T-shirt save of pretty much being ignored by anything, is really good.
Yeah, and that affects models that are really big and tough to hurt and hard to hurt. A 6-up feel no pain on a Stompa,
or Gargantuan Squiggoth.
Sure, or Gargantuan Squiggoth is legit.
Yeah, because there's nothing more frustrating than shooting this high toughness item or unit, finally getting through,
right?
Finally doing your damage, and then having it ignored by a bullshit dice roll from a culture. I might know that from experience.
That's awesome.
Blood Axes.
Theirs is just called Tactics.
Theirs is just Tactics because they're cunning.
Right.
With a K. They gain the benefit of cover even when they're not entirely in or on a terrain feature. And if the enemy model making the attack is at least 18 inches away, or at least 18 inches away.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
it's
the
kind
late
of like-
talk
yeah.
or strategies. Like as long as you're more than 18 inches away, you get a bonus to your save,
Yeah.
which is good. Like
super good. In addition, units with this culture can shoot or charge, but not both if they fall back in the same turn,
awesome.
which is huge.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's super good. And again, I think you can see, like, I mean, we still have one more culture to go, but they're all great, but they all are very specific to how you want to play your clan and how you want to play your orcs.
Sure.
And there's a benefit to each of them.
Right, and this one makes your orcs play like Eldar
I mean, I
or
like,
Harlequins. Like honestly,
yeah,
like just being able to move out of combat or whatever, do whatever they want.
move out of combat, flamer things with burners.
Sure.
Like burners get charged, burners use power weapons, burners move out of combat, flame everything.
Sure, or if your unit has fly, like
Yeah.
just being able to like fly over in a combat, like your Storm Boys or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like fly over the unit that charged you and kill all the characters behind it.
There's a lot of great uses for that. Our final culture with the freebooters, competitive streak. You add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by models with this culture if if a friendly unit destroys an enemy unit that's within 24 inches.
No, so the unit that destroyed
my
unit
bad.
has to be within 24.
Yes.
But a 24-inch bubble of +1 to hit for killing a unit every single phase could be really massive.
That has orcs hitting on 4s. And that, Ludas. And if you
It has flash gets hitting on 3s.
his flash gets hitting on 3s. And it's if you can target prioritize like a really small shitty unit.
Right.
Everyone has them. And it might not be the biggest threat to your army, but by killing that one like 5-man scout squad or that one like little 1-man psyker like
Sure.
Imperial Guard right there, that unlocks your entire army to be so much more deadly in shooting.
Well, literally 33% better.
Yeah.
So, which is huge.
But yeah, so out of that, Danny, kind of where are you lying for culture? Where's your culture?
So, okay. So, Goths are great because they are just so straightforward and brutal. I think that they are probably so the best ones to me are Goths, Evil Sons, and Death Skulls. To me, those 3 really take the cake. There's definitely some things to talk about with Bad Moons. I think those are good too. And Blood Axes are really versatile, so that very well could become a favorite because the Blood Axe strategy or stratagem is also really good.
Right. And that's a really nice segue, Danny, because I think what really makes a lot of these is the stratagems. And
For sure.
This book has some of the most insanely synergistic stratagems
God, they're
I've
really
ever
good.
seen.
They're really good.
They are really good. Let's hope chapter approved printed before this came out.
I think it did. I think that's safe to assume.
Good. Okay. Because I don't want any of these going up in command points. Danny, you've organized these into kind of different tiers. I like that. It's like you've been playing Final Fantasy. So tell us about the Codex Orc stratagem.
Okay, so the stratagems that orcs get. So first of all, orcs have a lot of stratagems. They have 26 stratagems.
And that includes like 1 for each clan as well.
Correct. But that's a lot comparatively
Oh, yeah.
to a lot of other factions. Like demons, I think only get like 16 or 18 or something like that. So it's a lot of different stratagems. So I organized these in tiers. So the S tier stratagems I think are the best ones, and then we're going to talk about A tier and B tier and maybe a couple of the rest. So the S tier ones that I want to go over. So we have ramming speed. For 2 CP, you use this stratagem during your charge phase. Select an orc vehicle unit from your army. You can roll 3d6 when making a charge move with that unit during this phase. In addition, if that unit finishes a charge move this phase, select an enemy unit within 1 inch and roll a d6 on a 2+. They also take d3 mortal wounds. So this stratagem combos up with the teleporter stratagem, which GW previewed a little bit earlier this week.
Right.
Which is basically you can deep strike any unit that has a power level of 20 or less for 2 CP. So what you can do with this potentially is take a unit of Death Dreads.
I have the same thing written down. Sort of. But please continue.
Sure, Death Dreads or cans or whatever else. And because they're less than 20 power level.
Right.
Deep strike them in. Yeah, one of them is only one of them is gonna get the 3d6. But the other ones are charging in on 9s with full rerolls. Or if they're Evil Sons, they're charging in on 8s with full rerolls. And one of them is charging in 3d6 with full rerolls. So he's almost
aren't they
certainly
just
going to make
one squad though? When they come
Well,
in?
so when they get deployed, they break into 3 separate units.
I thought that was just the buggies and the bikes.
No, I think the dreadnoughts have that rule as well.
But anyway, yeah, go.
But that's potentially 3 different threats to your enemy when they come in. So that's really solid. The next one that I want to talk about, and I don't think that people are ready for this yet.
Can I say, okay, so what I had down here
Oh, yeah,
for
go
that
ahead. I'm
stratagem.
sorry, man.
No, it's fine. And it's going to include another stratagem that's not on your list. Is that I kind of see this as a combo. I have still a max squad of 3 Death Dreads, all with full claws.
Yeah.
But I'm not teleporting them in.
Okay.
I have so I charge something turn 1 with my War Trike. My
Okay.
Death Killer War Trike. Something little shitty, something I know I'm not going to kill, but isn't going to kill me.
Sure.
And then turn 2, I'm going to use the Snag Grapple stratagem.
Okay.
That's 1 command point. It lets you fall back in the movement phase and do D3 mortal wounds to it.
Which is on a 2+, which
On
is
a 2+,
awesome.
which is awesome. You're falling back into range, so you can re-roll your charges with your Death Dreads.
To let them advance and charge.
To let them advance and charge. And then you use a ramming speed stratagem to have them charge 3d6
Awesome.
after advancing. 6 attacks each, so 18 strength, 10 attacks pretty much. Is
really brutal.
But it's kind of a similar thing about, and it's a lot of people are like, oh, when they think Evil Sons, it's all buggies and it's all, like the bikes and fast things like that. But I think the biggest bonus to these guys is to the Death Dread and getting that guy in combat as soon as possible.
For his points, like
He's
for his
so
killing
cheap.
powder.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just getting him up there real quick.
Yeah,
But yeah,
really awesome.
So next one there.
So I don't know if people are ready for this one yet. I think it's going to be a real game changer. It's called Get Stuck In, lads. So for 3 CP, it looks like at first glance your typical fight against stratagem for orc infantry units only, right?
Right.
But that's not quite what it is, because it says use this stratagem in the fight phase when it is your turn to select a unit to fight, or at the end of the fight phase. So unless your opponent interrupts and you charge with a unit, you spend 3p and you fight twice in a row before they get to go at all, which is usually fight again happens at the end of the phase. Only the night one is different. It lets you fight again immediately, but this one lets you fight right away, which is so good, especially since your boys, like, you don't have to worry about them getting attrition down,
Right.
or whatever else. Like,
And you've already consolidated forward, so you've closed the gap a little more.
then
You
you
got
can
more people in
consolidate
for attack.
again.
I think if you combine this one, if you have Golf Boys, if you combine this with the pregame Scar Boys stratagem.
Sure, right.
Scar Boys, a great 1 CP stratagem that makes a squad of boys strength 5.
It's so powerful.
So powerful because you are wounding Space Marines on 3.
Yep.
You're wounding pretty much every infantry on 3. You're now wounding Custodes on 4s.
Sure.
And with 120 attacks, you can't make all those 2+.
Well, you're wounding knights. To me, that's the most important
Knights
part.
on
Wounding
5s.
knights on 5s instead of 6s.
Yeah.
So like 30 boys, if they fight twice, they should like half-life a knight, especially with Goth exploding attacks.
Right. So that combo to me just really stuck out. And I'm just
really,
looking down
really
your
good.
list. I stole your thunder for Scar Boys.
No, that's okay. That's fine. That's also my S tier. So the next one I want to talk about is Orcs is Never Beaten. So which great title, right? So this is the typical. My character died. The Space Marine one. My character honor the chapter. So or not honor the chapter. Only in death is to the end. Right.
Right.
So they fight again when they die. So orc characters are going to die quite often. Like they're not super durable characters. Like to be totally.
I don't
fair.
think they have invulnerable saves or.
Yeah, it's very rare that they're going to have an invul save. Only I think you can have 3 characters in this book that have an invul save, and one of those is from a Warlord trade.
Yeah. Or a 6-up from Death Skull. But
Sure, right.
Gaz, I don't. Well,
Gaz has a 4.
Gaz is a 4. But so it's very rare.
Right. It's basically Gaz, Captain Badruck, and then the Bad Moon's Warlord trade is a 4-up invulnerable, which is great Warlord trade. So there's an orc psychic power called Fists of Gork. Fists of Gork give a character 2 extra strength and 2 extra attacks. So your Warboss with a power claw, right? has, with 2 extra attacks, has 6 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's Goffs, maybe, right? He can get exploding on 6s, even with a minus to hit with the Power Claw. In addition, or you can get him to 2s pretty easily. There's a bunch of different ways to do that. He explodes on 6s to hit. You can fight him again if you want to. And by the way, so I'm sorry. So when he's with his power, he is strength 16. Because his base strength, you do base strength changes before
The
you do multiplication for weapons, right?
So your +2 from Fist of Gork gets him to strength 8. And then that gets doubled to strength 16, which means he's wounding knights on 2s.
And then he's swinging 6 times, right? Potentially exploding some extra attacks, wounding on 2s. They get a 6-up armor save, and they're doing D3 damage apiece. So then you go, okay, well, yeah, the knight's not going to erupt. Okay, well, I'll fight him again.
Because some of these might get stuck in lats.
And they're like, oh, crap, well, I better kill him before he wipes out my knight in the next turn. Okay, cool, I'll spend 2 CP and have him fight a 3rd time this turn. So, like, I mean, and that guy, or even, like, a squad of, like Custodes or Sanguinary Guard or Death Company.
If you look at comboing that with someone like Ghazghkull.
Oh, yeah, Ghazghkull.
Ghazghkull has 6 attacks base.
Yep.
Oh, no, sorry, 5 attacks base.
No, but he gets 6 from
plus
his ability.
1 for his Goff Warlord trait, which
Yep.
he has to take. And then you get that psychic power off. He's up to 8 attacks.
And he gives himself an extra
He
attack.
gets himself an extra attack, so that's 9 attacks. You're at strength 16 now with a flat 3 damage custom claw.
That hits on 2s.
That hits on 2s.
Because he doesn't suffer a minus. And it's
wounds
3
on
flat.
2s.
Right.
Is 3 flat, and you can have, so if you combo your stratagems right and your opponent is stupid enough to kill him mid-combat, you get 27 power claw attacks at strength 16 that hit on 2s, wound on 2s, and do a flat 3 damage.
Oh, brutal.
There is literally nothing outside of a Warlord Titan that can survive that combo.
Sure, I agree.
In one turn.
It's an insane amount of damage. Ugh. And there's also relics too, where you can make your Warboss have 3 flat if you want to.
Yes. Yeah.
So, all right. So Orcs has never beaten. We talked about Teleporta.
It's so good. I wish it was 21 power points or less.
So you could
so my Gargantuans could teleport in and not just get shot to shit in one turn. Grot shields. This is what I alluded to earlier with the Savior Grotticall.
Yep. And so they did preview this again at the GW page this week, which is one of their best stratagems. Basically, as long as a grot unit is closer to the shooting unit than the infantry that's being shot at, you can activate the stratagem for 1 CP, and then on a 2+ you can slough off all the hits to the Gretchen squad.
So again, while we're marching this souped up Ghazghkull up to a knight, we're surrounding him with 30 grots who on 2s just eat all of his wounds for him.
Sure. Or the boys that are protecting him or whatever else.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, or whatever. It's great, and it kind of, again, super thematic. I don't think anyone's going to complain about a grot being used as a human shield because it's what they're there to do.
Exactly. And so yeah, this being able to keep your boys alive,
right,
or your knobs, or that kind of stuff, like
keeping your expensive stuff,
yeah,
alive. It's still limited to only infantry, so like not bikers
sure.
are still in a hard place, but it's still super powerful.
Yeah, but not bikers are so fast right now. Like I think that is something to even like, because they're speed freaks.
Oh yeah.
So if they're Evil Sons not bikers, I mean they can go like 20, 22 or 23 inches in one turn. They go 16 and then advance 6.
Yeah.
And then they get, so that's 22, and then they get a charge with +1 edge.
That's pretty gross.
With rerolls.
That's gross. Unstoppable Green Tide was your final S tier one.
So
your Tide of Traitors for Orcs.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
So basically, it's 3 CP. So keep in mind, all the stratagems I'm talking about are expensive. Mm-hmm. So you're going to want to play probably at the minimum a double battalion army with Orcs because you need to have the CP. And this is one that you're going to want to save CP for because there's so many other stratagems in this book that you're going to be spending pre-game, like Teleporta, Scarboys, that kind of stuff. Maybe some of the other ones. But anyway, 3 CP, you target a unit that has less than half of its starting number of models. You remove it from the battlefield and you infiltrate it back in the game. So it has to be placed within 6 inches of the edge of the battlefield and 9 inches away from the enemy. at full strength
Mm-hmm.
for no reinforcement points.
Right. Which, if they're a 30-man blob of boys, the frustration of killing that down to 5 models
Oh yeah,
and then having it just come back on the side of the table.
and I
It's
mean
gonna
that's
ma-
like 200 free points.
And it's going to make me as an opponent think about how I'm positioning my stuff, because if I know you have 3 CP that you're saving, then I need to keep close to that table edge so you can't come on and do that.
100%.
And again, it's anytime you can force your opponent to do moves or you control the tempo or the movement in the game, then it's worth keeping that aside just for that.
It's really good. One more thing I wanted to talk about, another combo that I thought that I had with the teleporter.
Yeah.
So mega armored knobs with the teleporter are like Evil Sun's double kill saw mega armored knobs. Because first of all, mega armored knobs got a points reduction.
Yes.
So double kill saw ones are only 43 points a model,
Which is ridiculous for the damage they throw out.
I think so. Like, and then they get +1 to charge, so they have an 8-inch charge when they come in, and they're 3 wounds apiece. So a lot of like the like plasma weapons and stuff like that aren't going to knock off a single one per hit.
No, they'll probably take one down to 1 wound or things like that. But
well, this will kind of segue nicely to the A tier ones that I have.
God, I love a good segue.
Yeah, so does your mom. All right, so
because she's old, can't walk.
That's right. That's exactly right. I respect her. So there's a stratagem in this book called Loot It. So whenever a vehicle is destroyed within 3 inches of an orc unit from your army, now notice this doesn't specify enemy vehicle.
Yes, very specifically.
You can spend 1 CP and improve the SAG characteristic of that infantry unit by 1. And then it lasts the rest of the game, but you can't mob up that unit for the rest of the game, and it can only be affected 1 time, that infantry unit. If the squad is a squad of actual Ludas, on a 4+, you get your CP back.
Yes.
Because they already know how to loot intrinsically, I feel like.
It's part of their gene pool.
Right. So, like, you charge your mega armored knobs into a knight that's unscreened, kill it, loot it, now they're a 1-up save. Or even regular knobs get to be a 3-up.
3-up, which is ridiculously good for considering the loadout you can give them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good one, and it's a little 1 command point stratagem because it is very kind of situational about when it'll be able to be pulled off. But man, when you pull it off, your opponent's going to be asking why the fuck that's a 1-point stratagem.
Yeah, and they've got to chew through those 1+ armor save models.
My one's at -1's a hit. Okay, 2s.
Exactly. All right,
so you're A tier.
So the first one I want to talk about, this is a clan-specific one, is Showing Off.
Yeah, Bad Moons.
Yeah,
specific stratagem.
Really, really good. So Showing Off, just pick a Bad Moons unit. And this is anytime you resolve a shooting attack with that unit, so it happens immediately afterwards. Just shoot him again for 2 CP.
Yeah. And so this does specify infantry unit.
Yeah, it does.
So certain ones are going to benefit more. So I think like Ludas really benefit from this. I think the surprise one for me, I feel a squad of Burnas would really...
Ooh, that could be really good.
Burnas would be a really good combo
like
for
stick
this.
them in between 2 units and then flame one and then flame the other.
Right.
That's
and
pretty good.
Because then you don't have to worry about hitting, which is the thing I love most about Burnas.
I was thinking Tank Busters would be good
Tank
too.
Busters would be super good for that. There's a lot of really good units that it would work for there. But again, 2 command points, and for 2 command points having to shoot again, and all the units we're talking about, aside from the Burners, which are strength 5, like strength 7, strength 8, really high strength attacks.
Right.
They should not be able to shoot this
You're getting
much,
a lot of quality out of this.
which are rerolling ones to hit.
And so combining this with one of the other A tier stratagems that I have called More Daka. And so Orcs got a new rule in this, which was previewed a while ago. I think pretty much everybody knows about it, called Daka Daka Daka.
Right.
It was a stratagem in chapter approved, but they've changed it now to just be a universal special rule for Orc.
So
units.
good.
So basically what happens is you always hit on a 6, regardless of modifiers.
Which, as an Alatok player, I disagree with hugely.
But as an Orc player,
I agree with it hugely as an Orc player.
So in addition, anytime they roll a 6 to hit, a natural 6, they get to shoot again with their weapon, with an extra shot. More DACA just changes that to a 5 or 6, a natural 5 or 6. So they auto hit on 5s and 6s, right? There's no penalties. So that's what their normal ballistic skill is. So that just means they get to shoot as normal,
which is so good. And I don't think until you've played Orcs, you realize the importance or the difference of hitting on a 5 compared to a 6.
Oh, for sure,
it's huge.
It is 100%.
Elder players, Dire Avengers with your Overwatch. How much better is it that you hit on 5s instead of 6s? It's so fucking good. Think about that. But for, like I said, like Orcs,
right?
It's really good.
And those 5s and 6s are also generating extra shots, so you get to shoot again. And those also hit on natural 5s and 6s.
But they don't make any more shots.
No, but
that's still a lot of shots.
Yeah. So Mordaka, super good on warbikes.
I recount my talking about Burnas for showing off because they don't explode.
Yeah. No, I mean it's still good though.
Yeah, but it's like great on warbikes where you have naturally a lot of shots.
And both of these combo up super well with a combo that John found that I did not see, which was super good, right? With the tank busters.
Yes.
So the stratagem,
so.
more stick bombs.
The extra stick bombs.
Oh yeah, extra stick bombs. Sorry.
So yeah, the extra stick bombs. At the start of your shooting phase, you select an orc in for each unit from your army. Up to 10 models in that unit can fire a grenade weapon in that phase instead of only one. Which, if you have tank busters in a battle wagon, which can fire from any point of that battle wagon, you pick a unit within 6 inches of the battle wagon. That's 10 tank buster bombs you're throwing.
10d3.
Which is 10d3 bombs.
Yeah, right. Okay, sorry, yes.
If you combine it with the Mordaka, hitting on 5s.
Right.
Exploding into further grenade bombs, possibly. Their strength 8.
Yeah, strength 8 minus 2, d6 damage.
D6 damage. It's a ridiculous combo for the grand total of 3 command points.
And let's get crazy. Let's make it 5 and do it twice.
That's disgusting. Bad Moon's tank busters. Like, I think because Danny, we're planning on playing together as orcs at a team tournament coming up. Yeah. We're going to abuse our review copy by playing it on the day it's released. But like that, I almost was like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to take a bunch of tank busters now because that sounds amazing.
I think you should.
I think I should.
In a bone breaker, which we'll get to later.
We'll get to later. It's so good. But yeah, that's a really good combo for that one there.
That makes me excited.
Oh God, we're so hard right now.
Yeah,
Thank God this is radio.
Yeah, you're lucky you can't see this.
You got one more here on the A tier?
I've got 2.
You got 2?
Sorry, 2 clan-specific ones.
Okay.
I've got Dead Sneaky, which is the Blood Axe one.
Yes.
So for 1 CP, you can infiltrate, basically deep strike, any unit of infantry with power level 8 or less. So instead of spending 2 points on teleporter, right?
Mm-hmm.
For 20-man boy squads, you can spend 1 CP to teleport them.
Right.
As many times as you want.
Or you can combo it.
Yeah, or you can do 2 CP and do a bigger unit.
Right. And then add 2 CP for teleport as well to get more units.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So like I said, it's just kind of a way or a cheaper way of kind of pushing up. Or I guess, I mean, if you're teleporting, then it's 2 CP anyway. But
sure.
Yeah, it's for blood axes. If you are running blood axes, that is the way to do it, not to teleport, but to use your Dead Sneaky because the unit you're moving up there is going to be using less command points, and you can then reinvest those in some of these other insane ass stratagems that they have.
I know. Oh my God. So the last one is Wreckers, and Wreckers is the Death Skull specific one, and basically what that does is it just lets you pick a unit. It doesn't matter if it's infantry, vehicle, whatever. They get to reroll failed to wound rolls for attacks made against vehicles, and it's 2 CP. So basically, you pick a unit, and they benefit from Doom for 2 CP.
Yes.
Which is the best psychic power in the game, as long as they're shooting at a vehicle.
Combined with Death Skull's tank busters.
Yeah.
Tank busted
That's what I'm talking
grenades
about.
against
Dude.
an Imperial Knight.
Right.
I mean, honestly, with these orc stratagems, they have ways to take out a knight for 3 command points or less in 1 turn.
Easy. So yeah, like with Wreckers on 10 extra stick bomb tank buster tank the tank mines tank bombs.
Yes,
whatever.
I think it's tank buster bombs.
Tank buster bombs. That's right. That is roughly 20 shots that hit on 3s, explode on 5s. Right, or I'm sorry, hit on 5s with a reroll.
Right,
because they're tank busters against vehicles. They get to reroll to hit.
Yes,
and then they get to reroll to wound. With Wreckers. So like I can't see a knight living through that. Like
No.
I mean, yeah.
No, and there's no way to screen it. There's no way to hide it. You just have to kind of bend over and take that.
And to
one
get
there.
to those boys, you're going to have to chop through first a battle wagon, almost assuredly.
Right, which is not easy.
No.
All right. Well, what else we have for the stratagems here?
Okay.
The B tier now, right?
Yep. So these ones are pretty situational. I think that they'll get used, but just not all the time. So mob up is a rule that's in chapter approved. Basically, it lets you combine your units. You have to pick one boys unit that's bigger than another one, and for one CP, you get to combine squads them.
Right.
Which is great.
For sure, and it kind of really helps either maintain position on the board, or if you have deny kill points or things like that. It's really good.
And then, it's one unit that has to have less than 10 models, and the other has to have 10 or more.
But still, if you have a unit of 30, and then you have a unit of 9, that is a massive boy squad to kill through.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
almost 40.
Yeah.
And then, so the next one is Warp Head, and Warp Head is a 1 CP stratagem for weird boys. Basically, it gives them an extra mastery level, so they get an extra power to choose from, and they get to cast an extra power.
Which, with the new Orc Psychic table, is
solid.
Because I don't see a bad psychic power.
No,
really
they're
on
all
that table.
really solid. Yeah, no complaints about their psychic powers. They're all pretty good.
No, they're really good there. Ard Boys is your next one you have here.
So 2 CP, you can pick one of your units, and they get a 5+ armor save. They can only mob up with other units of Ard Boys, but it's kind of like Scar Boys, where you can spend it at the start of the game. I don't see this being used a ton, but it's a nice little feature to have.
To me, the 2 command points is a little much. I think it's a 1 command point stratagem.
Yeah, that seems about right to me.
Because, like, for me, the only real benefit of doing it is I have 2 large mobs of Scar Boys, because I want to be able to kind of mob them up towards the end when they start kind of getting killed down.
Sure.
But so right away there, I spent 4 command points pre-game on
Right.
+1 to my save, which I know I've extolled the virtues of hitting.
And you can't be Scar Boys and Ard Boys.
Right, which I know I've extolled the virtues of hitting on 5s and how much better that is than 6s, but for armor saves, for some reason, I'm completely the opposite way about it.
Plus, there's minuses, and you can take custom force fields, which kind of negate that anyway.
Yeah.
So Force Field Projecta is a 3 CP one.
Dude, you're so smooth with the transitions today. It's so good.
It's all luck. I'm wearing my blue face paint today, so
yeah,
picking up the Dev Skulls thing. So the Force Field Projecta
microphone alone. You just started to disassemble it.
Yeah, I'm gonna loot it. So use this. It's a Force Field Projecta. So use it at the start of a battle round. Select a big mech model from your army. Until the start of the next turn, increase the range of that model's custom force field ability to 18 inches. You can only use it once per battle. So it's really good on like the first turn.
Right. Especially if you're not going first.
Sure.
It's a great way to kind of protect your stuff.
Yeah, like that combined with getting cover,
right,
could be a real lifesaver.
It's the difference between losing all of your fancy buggies and stuff, or
even then. I wouldn't do cover. I would just do this for an extra point.
Right.
To be honest, like I would just make sure everything was with an 18. Pop this and be like
5
up invuls all day long, which is great.
Yeah.
So then you've got Drive by Crumpin.
Great name.
Which is the Evil Sun's specific stratagem. Select a stratagem at the end of the shooting phase. Select an Evil Sun Speed Freaks unit from your army. That unit can immediately make a move as if it were the movement phase, but cannot charge this turn.
It's Fire and Fade.
Exactly. But a 14-inch Fire and Fade.
Which is ridiculous.
Oh, I just thought of this.
Wait.
So you could take a Shock Jump Dragsta, advance it at the end of the shooting phase, and teleport it somewhere else, anywhere on the table.
Or... my sneaky Eldar brain thinking, you can get a battle wagon or truck full of Burnas.
Not Speed Freaks.
Move them forward. Oh. Evil Sun Speed Freaks. No, but if the battle wagon Speed Freaks, right?
No.
Is a truck Speed Freak?
No.
Oh, fuck. Well, screw that stratagem. It's stupid.
Sorry.
I was like, you can move it up, shoot, and then move back again.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That would be cool, but you can't do it, so.
No.
But yeah, I like your idea about that shock jump, kind of guaranteeing that it's going where it's going. And again, 1 command point.
Yeah, 1 CP.
It's
fine
nothing.
for that.
Just throw it out there, and hopefully you just boost across the entire table.
Right. I wish the old buggy models had this rule.
Because
Because
you can still use them for the index.
Sure.
but they don't have speed freaks.
Right. So it would be totally fun to like do this with those and kind of fire and fade them away.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have is the Snake Bites stratagem Monster Hunters. It's actually pretty good. It's just really expensive. Use the stratagem at the start of any phase. Select an enemy model with a wounds characteristic of 10 or more. Add 1 to the wound rolls made by Snake Bites units from your army that target that model until the end of the phase. So basically you get Veterans of the Long War for your entire army against one big model for one phase for 3 CP.
Maybe like a Castellan.
Sure. Or a Valiant.
Or a Valiant.
Yeah, I can see like you using that against a Valiant. Because then you can like shoot it up or you can charge it with a bunch of boys and then pop that and be +1 to wound. So then they're basically like Scar Boys.
And is negating the power clause -1 to hit as well on war bosses.
It's +1 to wound.
Oh, +1 to wound? Oh, then never mind. I'm gonna.
So then you don't have to. Then you don't have to use like Fists of Gork on your guy, right?
Yeah.
So he's wounding on 2s with his power fist because he's only strength 12.
poor baby.
I know. Yeah. What a.
But yeah, 3 command points is pretty hefty for that.
Yeah,
I understand because it affects the whole army, but again, it's a situational one where I think in the moment it's going to save your game.
Sure,
but it's not going to be every game. It's a good one to know about and have in your back pocket.
Right, exactly. So there's a couple of other ones that I kind of I like.
Hey, can I talk about my favorite one we haven't talked about yet?
I'm so sorry, John.
No, you're good.
Of course you can.
Danny, you are the number 3 rated Harlequin player in the nation. I can jump in on this here. I have an affinity for Daka Jets.
Okay.
I love them. And the combination, so if I was to run, say, a Bad Moon Daka Jet with 6 super shooters on it and run the long uncontrolled burst stratagem.
Okay.
Long uncontrolled bursts is you at the start of your shooting phase, you select an orc vehicle unit from your army that can fly. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the hit rolls for shooting attacks made by that unit that target enemy units that can fly.
Okay.
So,
nice.
Wave Serpents.
Sure.
Hemlocks.
Yeah.
These are now all hitting on 3s.
Because
with the Daka Jet, you get +1 to hit if you fire all of your guns at the same target.
Sure.
So you have 18 shots hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s.
Yep.
Strength 6, so wounding most flyers on 4s.
Yeah, which is solid. And then again, the -1 gives a lot of people. It's getting the gotcha moment of wait, orcs are hitting on 3s. Yeah, again, some of that stuff.
What the fuck?
Sure.
Yeah, and it's just again 1 command point.
Yeah, which is nice.
It is nothing to throw 1 command point out there and be like, okay, I have 18 shots and they're hitting on 3s and I'm re-rolling 1s.
That's pretty solid.
So for me, the combination of that with the Daka Jet is great. I know the Def Copters dropped in price. I still don't see them super great. The other 2.
Can you use this with Def Copters?
Yeah, because it has the fly keyword.
Oh.
So.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is an underutilized, or this is going to be one that's going to fly under the radar because people are going to kind of go to the sexy ones like the the rhyming speed to get stuck in lads, things like that. There's so many things with the fly keyword.
Yeah.
That this is going to be huge.
Sure.
And it's going to be kind of really, again, anything that gets you more hits. Because the way orcs are designed as an army is you're going to hit less, but you're throwing lots of dice. If you can throw lots of dice and hit more, and then that's
even
disgusting.
better.
Yeah,
I
for
agree.
1 command point, I really like long uncontrolled bursts.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's situational, but I think it's at least decent.
It's a good one if you're taking Daka Jets, you definitely need to be knowledgeable about it. If you're taking a lot of Def Copters, then you need to know about it.
Yeah, I think Def Copters I did not see that before, so I think that's at least decent with Def Copters.
If only they'd release a Def Copter kit.
Well, because didn't they release it separately with?
No, it got released in the 4th edition box.
Yeah, but didn't they do Battle for the new one? Battle for
no, I don't think it came out with that. But if it is, I got to look because I only have 7.
I've been looking at them on eBay this week. So they've got the freebooter stratagem is Kill Cruiser Barrage, which is basically a D3 shot orbital bombardment for 3 CP, which is okay. But it's only hits on 5s and characters are still -1, so that means they're only hit on 6s for D3 mortals. So for 3 CP that's probably not super good. But D3 different points on the battlefield is kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like the Space Marine one, right? Where the orbital bombardment,
right?
It's just it's cool, but again, 3 CP. There's so many other stratagems in this book to use 3 CP for. It's a great last gasp.
Sure.
Well, I have 3 command points left. Fuck it, let's throw this out here. See what it does.
Boarding action is kind of
the
fun.
watermelon came back up.
Oh no! Drink some more, John. So boarding action is a 1 CP stratagem. Basically, if you assault with a transport full of dudes, for 1 CP, all the dudes inside the transport can swing 1 attack against the model, which is kind of cool. Like to swing, like if you have a couple of characters with power fists and a tank, like you could swing some power fist hits against them. Like if you assaulted them, I mean, it's all right. It's not great, but it's all right.
Yeah. Billowing exhaust clouds.
Yep, that's
Another good one. 1 command point. -1 to hit a speed freaks unit.
Yeah, that'd be good on Coptus.
That'd be good on Coptus.
Because you can take a unit of them. That and bikes.
Yes,
War bikes
and war bikes. So again, you have your war bike unit coming up. -1 to hit.
Not bikers
is great. And
Yeah.
and again, it's underrated because they're like, oh, we're still hitting on 4s, but taking away like a 6 of their opportunity to hit you is amazing.
It's really good.
Yeah, and again, 1 command point.
So those aren't all the stratagems, but we'll let you guys. We'll tease you there. You
Yeah.
can look at the book. And
I mean,
see if
we
you
have
can-
some really nice combos we want to run, and like I said, the nice thing about this is the first book in a while I've looked at the stratagems. I've looked at the relics, which we're going to move on to in a little bit here, and kind of found some really nice synergistic combos. And the nice
Yeah,
thing
for
about
sure.
it is there's so many different ones that I don't see a mono build orc army anytime soon.
No, I think it's going to be really different for at least a while before things shake
right
out.
before it shakes out. But warlord traits, there is 13 specific warlord traits in this book.
That is correct, John.
There is 1 for each culture, as well as 6 quote unquote generic warlord traits.
And the generic ones are really good.
They're
actually.
so good, and I'm really mad I can't take them for Waaaghs. Oh no, Zarsnark.
Yeah, but his clan one is really good.
It's
man.
really good. Yeah, so Evil Sons, a warlord and friendly Evil Sons units within 6 inches can charge an enemy even if they fell back earlier in the turn.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good. That is really good.
But it would be fun if he could take some of like the ones that gave him like for instance, Artist Nails.
+1 toughness.
Yeah.
That's batshit insane.
That's so cool.
That's so good.
I want to give that maybe to my Wartrike.
Yeah, because it makes it like super tough.
Toughness 7.
Cunning but brutal is you get to redeploy D3 friendly units.
Yeah, that one's cool. I like that one.
I like those one. I mean, I like it when it was like the Elder one, when it was the Space Marine one, because again, it's just like you can make
you could mess with people.
You
so
can
hard.
make your opponent deploy badly,
right
by putting all of your important shit over here, and then at the start of the battle, you're like, oh, okay, these are all moving over here now, and now everything is out of position.
It's amazing.
Amazing. We have Follow Me Lads. His aura is increased by 3 for his breaking heads rule.
Or you can give it to a non-Warboss and give him Waaagh and breaking eds, so that he can like restore discipline. Because basically, breaking eds is you do D3 mortal wounds to a unit and they auto pass morale tests.
Right.
Whereas Waaagh is infantry units of the same clan can run and hit advance and charge.
Right.
But if it's a Warboss that gets it, it increases it from 6 inches to 9 inches, which is good.
Now, to me, it's still the worst of the warlord traits. But you know what pulls it up is it gives you 1 command point.
Yeah,
every
for free,
take it.
which
for
is
free.
cool.
Which
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and we've already talked about all of the great command points. Big Kill a Boss, you add 1 to wound rolls for your warlord's attacks that target a vehicle or monster unit.
It's really cool.
That's really fucking good. I'm a big fan of big choppas over power claws.
Oh, okay.
To be real personal here, because I mean they've always been cheaper, and for me, like the strength, it gets to a point where like what's a 3 compared to a 2?
Sure.
And if you can get to a point with this thing where your warlord's wounding on 2s with a big choppa, and you're not having
solid.
any minuses to hit, that's really solid.
Yeah, for sure. And that guy is wounding knights on 3s.
Yeah.
Which is cool because he's strength 8 already.
Yeah.
Unless he's got the kill choppa, and then I think he's wounding on 2s.
Oh, it's so gross. It's
Anyway.
so good. I love it. Might is right. You add 1 to your warlord's strength and attack characteristics.
So cool.
Hey, strength 18.
Right, there
Warlords.
you go. Yeah, or you have a big choppa, and that'll take you to strength 9.
Yeah. It's I'm a big fan of the big choppa.
And Brutal but Cunning is the last generic one. And that's, you can re-roll hits in the fight phase with your warlords. In addition, you get +1 damage to his melee attacks if he charged, or charged, charged, was charged, or performed heroic intervention.
Heroic intervention is my favorite thing. Oh, that's so gross. Bad Moons, we already talked about a little bit earlier there. You get a 4-up invulnerable save when you're Warlord. Amazing.
That's what I'm actually going to give my trike.
Amazing, because, well, I lived through the Orc editions where they had 0 invulnerable saves in close combat.
Yeah, dude, Bad Moon's got the best stuff, man.
Bad Moon's got the best stuff because he got all the teeth. The Blood Axes, it says, I've got a plan, lads. It's command point regeneration.
On the 6s.
For
only
sixes.
your stratagems. Which is, if you're going to be spending a lot of CP, it's not bad.
It's still good. It's still not sexy anymore now that they fixed it, so it's not completely broken.
Yeah.
But it's good.
It's not bad.
Death Skulls, you reroll wound rolls of 1 for attacks made by your Warlord that target an enemy vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
If your Warlord has a standard Power Claw, that is fucking ridiculous.
That's pretty cool.
That's really, really good. Also, in the shooting phase, this Warlord can target enemy character units that within 18 inches, even if they are not the closest enemy unit.
He gets to be a sniper.
Again, and it feels like they looked at this and went, man, this Death Killer War Trike's a really cool model. How can we make all of the Warlord trades benefit this?
I didn't even think about that. That's really cool.
Right, because I was sitting there thinking, what guns can I give my Warlord that I can snipe characters with?
Yeah, that's not bad.
So Death Killer War Trike.
I was actually thinking of a shock attack gun.
I was thinking that too, but that's one shot hitting on 5s.
Shock attack gun?
Yeah, isn't that one shot? Is it D6?
D6.
Okay, well, that too. There's something psychologically terrifying about purposely targeting your opponent's Warlord with a shock attack gun.
Yeah.
Every turn. Even if it's not the most viable target or the best one, be like, I'm going to shoot your Warlord again.
Don't care.
Why? I'm going to make Grots go inside it.
Freebooters, we roll 1s to hit. It's called Killer Reputation.
Bam.
Reroll 1s to hit for attacks made by friendly freebooters units in the fight phase while they're within 6 inches of your Warlord.
And again, if you have Captain Badrock,
sure,
surrounded by Mega Knobs,
sure,
that is, again, super gross.
So, okay, think about this.
Okay. Lay it on me.
You kill a unit in the assault phase first.
Oh, shit. I wonder where this is going.
Yeah. So okay. So even if it's just like normal knobs, let's say they're all with big choppas, right? So they're strength 7. You kill a unit in the fight phase. They're hitting on 2s, or better yet, you have mega knobs within 6 inches of a Waaaghs banner, and you kill the unit. Now the mega knobs are hitting on 2s, rolling 1s.
Right.
With strength 10, saws.
Yes.
So
which you've teleported in.
Hell yeah! From the Kill Cruiser, baby. So I also quite like freebooters. I think they're fun. Like I think that could be
for sure.
I think that could be a really cool army.
Goffs is a real nice simple add 1 to your attacks.
Yeah, I like. Okay, so there are 2 Goff characters in the book too, so they're automatically getting this trait.
Mm-hmm.
So Gazgul and the Vulture guy.
Yes.
God, what is it? Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, I feel bad. He's one of my
I'm
favorite
not going to look it
characters,
up in this book in front of us.
Captain Zagstruck.
Yes.
So they both get +1 attack, which is nice. I mean, it's a nice little buff.
Sure.
But it's not as good as +1 strength and attacks, which is one of the generic ones.
Yes.
So
it's a little. I mean, I understand it, and it's
dude,
like
Gazgul does not need to be strength 14.
I mean, he sort of does. I kind of want him to be there. But I understand why it was made that way. But it sucks when your base Warlord trait or your generic one is a slightly better version of that.
Yeah, I understand.
Snake bites. Surly as a squiggoth. I like this one immediately. For I'm a fan of squiggoths.
Because there's squiggoth in the name.
You reroll failed morale when you're within 6 inches of your Warlord.
Yep.
That's not great.
And Grot's auto pass within 12.
Grot's auto pass,
which is
better. Great because you've been using them as human shields the whole time.
Well, Gretchen shields.
Oh, sorry, Grot shields. Save your Grotical.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right, so that kind of goes over the Warlord traits.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come back and talk about my favorite section, the relics.
Yeah.
If you're in the Anchorage area and need your hobby fix, head on down to Tier 1 Cards and Games. Whether it's 40K, X-Wing, Attack Wing, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, War Machine, Age of Sigmar, Malifaux, or even Magic, the Gathering kind, not the Siegfried and Roy kind, Tier 1 Cards and Games has the space, the players, and products for you to build your forces and destroy your foes. Not in Alaska? Enjoy our snow suckers. We've got none. And while you're stuck inside, check out Tier 1's live Twitch stream. at www.twitch.tv/tier1cards. Streaming ITC format, 40K starting at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the last Saturday of every month.
And we're back. I've switched from Four Loko to a wild cherry Pepsi, which is much more enjoyable.
Oh my God, I can only imagine. Is
I
it
think
rinsing the taste of
it is.
shame and low rent
Danny,
malt liquor out of your mouth?
We're 35 years old. That taste is never going to go away. But I think next time it's going to be cans of house wine, just to be extra classy.
I kind of like that.
Shiny gubbins is the fancy orc word for the relics.
Yep.
I tried to narrow down my list of favorite relics, but I ended up just writing down both pages.
Sure.
Because I don't see bad ones.
I have three favorites.
What are your three favorites? And then I'll see if it compares to my 17
I have
favorites.
Three actual favorites,
Okay.
and then one that's my personal favorite because it's an
I love
awesome.
that.
It's
Yeah,
an
yeah.
awesome. It has awesome rules. So the three that to me that stand out as being exceptionally good are Head Waaaghs Kill Choppa. Number one, because it has the best name of any relic in this book.
For sure. Well,
Like-
the lucky stick, but I like the history behind that. But anyway, go. Yeah, Head Waaaghs Kill Choppa.
Right. So this is basically the same as it was in chapter approved when they got it, but it's a melee weapon. It's a big choppa. You replace it. It's +2 strength, -2 AP instead of -1, and 2 flat damage. And any wound rolls of 6 made for attacks by this weapon inflict 2 mortal wounds instead of any other damage, which is great. What a great ability.
Right. Especially if you're attacking a vehicle and you're using some stratagems that give you +1 to wound.
Sure. Like snake bites,
Yeah.
popping that on 5s and 6s is pretty cool. So that one's pretty good. My absolute favorite as far as like just pure damage output, I think, is the Killer Claw, which used to be really bad. It used to be 1 strength D attack, right?
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It was bad. No,
Before-
it wasn't even D. It was strength 10.
Right, it was strength 10. Like back in the day, people took the lucky stick, maybe
Right.
a shiny shooter if they had nothing else to spend 5 points on.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, go.
And it's a Power Claw, so ×2 strength -3 AP. Instead of D3, it's just flat 3 damage.
Which is amazing.
Right. No minus to hit.
Which again, if you're combining that with the psychic power to get your Warboss strength 16,
Right.
to have your 7 or 8 attacks,
Yep.
you're using your stratagems to attack possibly 3 times in the fight phase, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. That's a possibility. Even if you only hit half the time, that is 36 wounds.
Brutal.
And that's half the time on a 2+.
And it lets you reroll failed wound rolls. So you're rerolling those ones to wound, which
Right.
is amazing.
Yeah, so at the very worst, if you roll dice like Dave, you're doing 36 wounds.
I mean, I easily see this doing 15 wounds to a knight.
For sure, without stratagems, right?
Right. Just like that's my initial swing with my guy. 15 wounds, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's amazing. And then my final power one that I like is the Lucky Stick. So there's been some talk about like, this one seems pretty lame because it's kind of limited. So what this does is it's a Goth-only relic. Add 1 to the hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Goth character models while they are within 6 inches of the bear. In addition, you can reroll failed to hit and to wound rolls for attacks made by this bear in the fight phase. So full rerolls is great. Like that's better than wounding on.
Sure.
Let's see. Wounding on 3s with a reroll is almost better than it's a little bit worse than wounding on 2s, but not by much. No, it's better. It's
Yeah.
straight up better. It's it's 0.89 compared to 0.83. Yeah, it's better.
Mm-hmm.
And then wounding on hitting on 2s with a reroll with the Power Claw, because he gets +1 to hit for himself, so he doesn't take the minus to hit from the Power Claw.
That's good.
So you make kind of like, I can see this working well with like 3 Goth Warbosses with Power Claws.
Oh, like a supreme command of Goth Warbosses?
Yeah, just rolling those 3 guys up because
Ooh.
they're only like 78 points with everything, like a Power Claw and a custom shooter.
That is really good.
And so, like, just rolling those guys into your opponent's line and be like, okay, yeah, get rid of 6 wounds of Warboss, and that before they swing their 4 strength 12 power fist attacks that hit on 2s.
That's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. And then My favorite one.
Oh man. So currently, by the way, you've not duplicated any of my 3 favorites.
Yeah?
So I'm really hopeful that we go 3 for 3 so we can highlight 6 amazing relics.
Brogg's Buzz Bomb. Is
No,
my favorite.
I have that one. That's my favorite too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so much fun. What a great relic.
So
man.
yeah. Brogg's Buzz Bomb is a 6-inch grenade that you get 3d6 shots at, strength 5, AP -1, damage 1 apiece.
So basically, it's a heavy flamer with 3d6.
Because
Oh, I'm
it-
sorry. It does auto hit.
It auto hits.
Yeah.
And then it auto hits a unit within 6 inches for another 2d6. So this is okay. So remember when I said that I was going to make the Mech Boy workshop work?
Sure. Okay.
So you have a Death Killer Wartrike, a Snakebite Death Killer Wartrike that hides in the backfield beside a Mech Boy workshop.
Okay.
It uses its first turn to do the more DACA custom job, which makes
yeah, okay.
no random. It's just maximum shots, right? The Death Killer Wartrike moves fast enough that it doesn't fucking matter that it wasted a turn hiding beside your mag station. It is now automatically doing 30 hits to 2
And
units.
nobody can shoot at it.
No one can shoot at it.
Oh, dude, that's a great combo, John.
Yeah. That's what gets me excited about that one, because I'm like, I was determined when we looked at this book. We first saw the previews and people were bitching about how shitty the Mech Workshop was. I'm like, no, there was one situation. There was at least one situation that this works in.
Because, okay, so conceptually, this is the way I'm thinking of using it, right? I roll up, throw this grenade. I do the hits to the unit, right? But that's not my real target. What I'm after is the character hiding behind the unit
That you do 2d6 hits to because it's within 6 inches.
Exactly.
So I feel 80 points in sacrificing a turn of movement on something that moves 20 inches
Right.
is not too much to ask.
Well, okay. So here's the caveat that I have, right? You can't advance and throw the grenade.
Well, how the Wartrike still moves.
It still moves 14 inches, right?
Still moves 14 inches.
So
And if it's turn 2,
there's probably going to be something
movement.
closer.
There's going to be
Yeah.
something closer. You still have turn 2 things like maybe a Slum Goonies came down. Maybe something else came down. And you're like, here's a whole bunch of attacks.
Sure.
Because this ignores the character rule.
Right.
Because it just says a unit within 6 inches of your initial target.
Sure. And so the way that this is worded too is a little janky. I think that you could actually hit the same unit. It just says another. It doesn't say a different.
That's fair. You could. You could. But yeah, I think, like I said, that to me, Brogg's Blitzbomb, a Death Trike is the only way to make a MacBoy Workshop work.
Yeah, that's legit. Okay.
Because
I will give that to you
that's
100%.
a really good gotcha combo
I
right
like
there.
it.
And it's 0 command points.
So another thing too, right? That potentially the Mech Workshop can add 1 to the damage rolls if you roll a 6, right?
Right.
So you get 2 damage on all those hits. Like if you go character sniping,
That's really good.
that's amazing.
And you know what? People will look at your army list and be like, you took a MacBoy Workshop? Fucking noob.
Yeah, you loser.
You didn't move
I mean,
your...
that's what I would say.
You
right
didn't
off
move
the
your
bat.
work track turn 1, you dumbass.
what are you doing?
But yeah,
Fixing
I
up
think
my
that's
buzz bomb,
a
baby.
good surprise combo for the Buzz Bomb.
Even if you okay, so
Because it's only
worst
once a
case-
game you can use it.
Sure. Worst case scenario, use it on turn 3.
Right.
And like another thing that you can do with it, use it on Overwatch.
Yes.
And then it's auto hits. You could get 18 auto hits on them, and then nuke something else that was going to charge
At
somebody
strength
else.
5, so
Right.
you're wounding Marines on 3.
Yeah, with -1 AP. It's good. So okay,
So
cool.
that's okay. So, and I feel that's a good backfield defense.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's why that's one of my favorite
Cheers, John.
relics.
That's amazing. That was a good combo. I
that's
did not think of that.
Right. Again, I feel a lot of this book was made to like. I feel Games Workshop came down and it was like to the rules designers, like corporate came down and was like, hey, how do we sell more of this War Trek? My other 2 that I have here, the Dead Shiny Shooter holds a special place in my heart.
Sure.
And this edition, it's even better. It's an 18-inch range, which is great for a boy's gun. It's Assault 12,
Yeah, of course it is.
Strength 4, but now AP -1.
Yeah, baby.
So again, just essentially an entire unit of orcs shooting from one goddamn gun.
So this one combos up well with that Death Skull Warlord trait,
Yes.
right?
That's a great combo for that one there. And it's not faction lock, so you're good in that. And then my final one that I really like, and this is just because I have a special place in my heart for Gorkanauts and Morkanauts
Okay.
and Gargantuan Squiggets.
Sure. Okay. I know where you're going with
Is
this.
Res Mecha's Redder armor. This is Evil Sons only. You add 1 to the move characteristics of a transport while the bearer is embarked, which again, combining with Evil Sons already,
Right.
you're adding 2 minimum.
Yep.
Probably 3.
Yeah.
And then the most important thing, if the bearer is embarked at the start of your movement phase, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 1 inch of the transport the bearer is embarked within. On a 4+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds.
That's nice.
My Gargantuan Squiggeth is a large model, and if I sideways shuffle him up the table, he can realistically be within 1 inch of half your army.
That's funny.
So, like,
Can he fall back out of combat and still assault?
I don't want to say yet. I think he's our Gargantuan unit, so I think he can.
Because like you could jump him out.
I'm pretty sure people can shoot out of him while he's in combat, though.
So, but if he can't, right?
Right.
You take the Evil Sons Warlord trade. You hop him out of the transport because this happens at the start of the movement phase,
Right.
and then back him out and charge him in again because he does mortal wounds when he charges, right?
Yes, he does. so it's a mortal wound factory. So like I said, any way I can make a Gargantuan Squiggle Lord. I bought a model by accident when I clicked through the Forge World cart like about 5 years ago. And the first time I fielded him was against our friend Collins Eldar when it was like, "What's your initiative for my War Spiders? Oh, your initiative 1? Oh, so that's dead." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Twos to wound. Sorry,
so,
man.
So anything I can do to make it work, I'm very happy about. But like I said, my big takeaway from this, and like the sleeper hit from the Shiny Gubbins to me, is definitely the Buzz Bomb.
Oh man, that thing is great.
The Buzz Bomb, and like I said, the Mech Workshop Buzz Bomb is
That's solid. That's a good.
that's
combo.
a really good surprise combo, because if you're moving your army up, no one is going to shoot at the trike sitting at the workshop in your backfield.
No, I mean, and yeah, literally, unless they have snipers, they can't.
Right. And if you deploy it right, then you're out of line of sight. And a lot of the armies nowadays are so aggressive. And then we look at things like the Plague Bearer bombs, where you have your Nurgle gun line and your Plague Bearers like all the minuses to hit.
Ooh.
To protect like your demons coming up. Well, here's 30 auto hits or 18 auto hits plus also 12 to the demon prince hiding behind you.
Yeah, or the Sloppity Bile Piper.
Or the Sloppity
whatever.
Bile Piper
Yeah.
buffing you. So like I said, it's a really nasty little combo that's just hidden in there.
Hopefully damage too.
Hopefully damage too. Fingers crossed, good dice rolls.
So
but-
there's a couple other ones I just want to
Oh,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
real
go,
quick.
go.
So we got the Super Cyborg Body,
Yep.
which is 5 up Feel No Pain.
which is super good.
Yep. You've got Scorched Git Bones, which gives +1 to only Weird Boys, +1 to Psychic Tests.
So this almost made my top 3, just because things like the Fist of Gork, where you're getting +2 strength, +2 attacks.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you want to be +4 to cast that power?
Right. It's ridiculous. It's so that one. If you take the Scorched Git Bones, you are casting that on a 5.
No, it's anything but even double ones will cast it.
Isn't it just +1?
Yeah, it's +1, but then the Weird Boys get +1 for every 10 orc models within 6 inches.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then fuck, take it. Yeah, you are auto casting. I think your Warboss is an unstoppable killing machine.
Exactly. And so you use this on your Warp Head, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that he gets
And your Warboss with the Kill the Claw with the flat 3 damage is hitting on 2s with his like 15 attacks.
exactly. Lovely.
So many good combos in this. You will spend command points like a child locked alone in a candy store
man.
with this orc
That's
army.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so with this stuff, you're going to be spending CP before the game starts.
Yeah.
So I think like you're going to start with like 5 CP with orcs a lot of times.
Right, because you will have spent
Like
8
10.
or
Yeah,
10
right.
pre-game.
So you got Git Stoppa Shells, which are probably not the best item. It's +1 to strength, +1 to damage, -1 AP to any shooter or custom shooter combi weapon.
So it pretty much makes them all -1 AP. Or like the custom rocket will be -4.
Well, it doesn't affect the rocket, right?
Oh,
it
so-
just affects the shooter. So the shooter,
Yeah.
the best case scenario, you put it on the custom shooter because that's 4 shots. So you get strength 5, -1, 2 damage.
But there's so much better things for your relic slot.
Exactly. So you got the
Especially, which is weird now we're talking about something like the Ork Codex, which is like so resource dependent, and it's like there's way better ways to spend 1 command point than on the Gestapler shells.
I think so too. You got Morgrog's Thinking Cap, which was always one of my favorite relics back in the day.
Right.
So it gives your Warlord, if you put it on your Warlord, you get a second Warlord trait. If you don't put it on your Warlord, that guy also gets a Warlord trait, but it's not your Warlord.
Which, again, if you do like a Supreme Command of War Bosses,
Heck yeah.
like a Blood X War Bosses, then that's the...
And those dudes like, okay, yeah, you locked me up with your big squad, whatever, I'm going to fall back. And then charge something else, which is great. The next one is the Bad Moon's Relic, which is the Gore Shot Thunderbuss.
Yes.
Which is cool. This was almost my favorite, just because it's really fun. It replaces a custom shooter or a combi weapon shooter portion with a shotgun. So it's a 12-inch range, heavy 2d6, strength 5 -1, 1 damage, heavy auto hit.
Again, anything that anything that auto hits with orcs is fantastic.
I was thinking like putting that on a dude inside of a battle wagon that you teleport.
Because you can teleport the battle wagon because the dudes inside don't count towards CP or PP or power level. Yeah. Ooh, that's good. That's a nice combo.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of fun. Like, because it's 12 inches too, so even though you're 9 inches away, you still get to blast them.
Right. Because usually something like Burna's even like because they have an 8-inch range.
Sure.
So like, yeah, I like that. It's good.
Then you got the Fix-Uppas, which are a special Death Skulls relic. He gives the model the big mechanic ability, so he can repair. Or if he already has it, he auto repairs 3 every turn.
Which is okay.
It's all right.
If you have something near like a battle, again, anything where you're negating dice rolling is super helpful.
For sure.
I just feel like it's good, but there's way better relics.
I think so too. I think it's probably critical if you're playing a Stompa.
Well, even then, don't you just load it up with mechs?
Well, you can only repair a model once per turn.
All right,
Like
so you're for sure getting back like
3.
3 or 6.
No, it's going to be 3 because
because even with the grots,
still count as
repairing.
Yeah. I don't know. Even like then like I don't know. Maybe it's not worth
even
it.
then it's even if you're running a Stompa, then there's other things like I would maybe want to take Res Mecha's Redder armors, so that way when people come within an inch of a Stompa, I'm doing mortal wounds to them.
I just figured if you were going to take a guy with a custom force field, you might want it behind it. You were going to take one anyway, so it might be worth it to get on.
Yeah, for sure.
But like that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So then the last one is the Bad Skull Banner, which is the Freebooters relic. Once per battle, you can make all of your Freebooters auto-pass morale tests.
Which is amazing.
Which is great. Like that, especially since a lot of Freebooters units are probably going to have flash gets, right?
Yep.
Which are a lower model count unit. So having them auto-pass when their leadership is like 7.
Or even if you have a squad of 30 Freebooter boys that gets whittled down to 1 boy on an objective, and you're like, that auto-passes.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's
no command points.
And you do it at the start of the morale phase, so you get to pick the most opportune moment for it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's whatever you want to be. So that's
and then you spend 3 and bring the whole squad back.
That's the relics there. It's not on your list, and I know we're running super long, but it's fine. The powers of the Waaaghs, the psychic powers are all amazing. First off, we have Ed Banger, which is Warp Charge 8. You roll a d6 compared to the toughness of the closest enemy model that's visible and within 18 inches of the psyker. If the result is higher than the model's toughness, it's slain. As an Elder player, I fucking hate this psychic power.
That's so awesome against Farseers.
Oh yeah, because literally all Farseers. Yeah, if I fail my deny roll on that, I'm dead.
Well, 50-50 at least. Or 50-50 with a reroll, because I'm re-rolling the dice on that if I fail.
For sure. Warpath, Warp Charge value of 7. You select a friendly orc unit within 18 inches and increase the unit's attack characteristic by 1 until your next psychic phase.
Yeah, baby.
So that would be like, what, 5 attack base for your Slugga boy? Or
or 6 if the gas goes by.
Sucks.
6, yeah.
So that's 180 attacks possibly that you're getting out of 1 psychic power.
Popping on 6.
Popping on 6s because you're surrounded by boys.
And maybe hitting on 2s. So, then you got the jump.
Which hasn't changed.
Nope.
It's still you pick an infantry unit, you take it off the table, you redeploy it within 9 inches of an enemy unit.
Yep.
I guess the benefit of this one right now, especially with the changes to the reserve rules, is it's a way, I believe turn 1 you can pick them up off your deployment zone and you can shoot it up and get it within charge range. It is limited to infantry, but at the same time, having something 9 inches away is better than having something further away.
100%.
We've talked a lot about Fists of Gork. It's going to be, I think, the go-to psychic power for most people.
For sure.
+2 strength, +2 attack for an orc character. Warp Charge 6, which seems undercosted to me.
It's really low. But then it's only affecting one guy, right?
Right, but that one guy is going to murder your most expensive unit.
Murder something so hard.
To crunch, Warp Charge value of 8. You roll a d6 for each model in a unit within 18 inches of the psyker. For each roll of a 6, it suffers 1 mortal wound. Then roll 2d6, and on a 10 plus, roll a d6 once more for each model in that unit. Each roll of a 6, that unit suffers 1 mortal wound.
Yep.
So you essentially have the chance to crunch twice, which is really good for chaff or really big random units. Again, Plague Bearers.
I was thinking of Zangors,
things like that. It kind of really helps kind of whittle down stuff there. And then finally, Roar of Mork is a warp charge value of 8. You subtract 1 from the leadership characteristic of an enemy unit that's within 18 inches of the psyker.
Yep. So that one's bad.
Why is that an 8? And the one that gives me +2 attacks, +2 strength, a 5, or like a 6.
Yeah, but still,
yeah. That's
I don't have a good answer for that. John.
Yeah, Roar of Mork, I don't think is going to see use. Fist of Gork, we'll see a lot of use. Warpath, we'll see a lot of use.
Warpath, the jump is good. The crunch is good.
Yeah, Edbanger is good
situationally.
Yeah, Roar of Mork, unfortunately, is kind of like the ugly stepsister at the ball.
I want to use Edbanger against a fucking Archon. That would make me really happy.
Yeah.
Because 2+ Shadowfield saves can die on fire.
Yeah. And they go away. But anyway, so moving on, we have our units. Let's talk a little bit about the new units. I know we went over them before. I guess to kind of be really succinct about it, because I know the Warhammer community side has gone into them a lot.
Sure.
What is kind of your favorite of the new buggies?
Megatrek scrapjets, I guess. Well, no, I want to talk about the Death Killer Wartrike. You can talk about the scrapjet.
Okay.
I know you're going to.
Oh man, well now I have to.
All right, so the Death Killer Wartrike is a 14-inch move model. Hits on 2s in melee. It's strength 5, toughness 6, 8 wounds, 5 attacks, which is rad.
Right.
Because that's more than a normal Warboss, right? So what you wouldn't see, so you see on the unit, it's got twin boomsticks, right? Which are like the shotgun-looking things. But it doesn't just have 1; it has 3.
That's a lot.
So it shoots 6 times 12-inch range, strength 5, and then if it's within half range, add 1 to the hit roll, so it hits on 4s, which is great. So good weapon. And then it also has, you can shoot the claw, which is it's like a harpoon launcher. Strength 4, reroll failed wound rolls with that.
You're just gonna make me yell at Poon again, like when I got that stupid knife.
And then there's the Killer Jet. So the Killer Jet has 2 profiles. It's either Assault D6, which is a heavy flamer, so Strength 5 -1 auto hit, or it's Assault 2, Strength 8 -4 D6 damage with the Melta roll. So if it's within half range, roll 2 dice and take the best one for damage. So it has a lot of shooting, and it has a good close combat with the Snagga Claw, which makes him Strength 7 -2 D3 damage, and you can reroll failed wound rolls with him with 5 attacks, which is rad. Man, he'd be a good target for Fist of Gork, too.
Yeah. What is he, a character?
He is a character.
Ooh.
That's why I'm saying nobody can shoot at him, dude, because he's, he's less than 10 wound character.
Okay. Anyone who bitches about that mech shop, you just take a Wartrike.
That's the answer. A snakebite Wartrike.
A snakebite Wartrike.
Yeah.
And do a snakebite Supreme Command of 2 weird boys. And a Wartrike.
What, like teleport him?
And teleport him.
Well, he wouldn't be within 6. I don't know. Anyway.
There's the ways around it, but yeah.
And then he has the speed wall rule, so you get to you can advance and charge units within 6, and then once per game he has Fuel Mixagrot, which lets him auto advance 6 instead of rolling a dice. So then he can move 20 inches.
So maybe if he stayed back and
right, it was charging
up his grenades.
Basically, I just imagine the mech like duct taping a bunch of grenades to one grenade, and he keeps duct taping grenades until like the guy's like, "All right, I can't actually throw that."
Like an IndyCar pit stop where he's like revving the engine to go, and the mech's like, "Nope, need more grenades."
Hold on a second, I need more tape. All right, so that's my favorite of those units.
I mean, you said I was going to say the Megatrek scrapjet, and you can go back and talk about it all you want. But it was our initial conversations when we first got the Speed Freaks box about the custom Booster Blaster that got me excited.
Yeah.
It's not for the rivet cannon, which is a great, strength 7.
Yeah, it's a decent gun.
It's a decent gun. It wasn't for the stick bombs or the grob blasters. It was for the burner exhausts.
Because nobody sees that it has.
No one sees that it has. So it has 4 exhausts. Well, actually, it has like 12 exhausts, but weapon-wise, it has 4 exhausts, which are pretty much 6-inch flamers.
Yep.
So 6-inch, assault D3, strength 4.
See, John, there are 3 barrels for a maximum of D3 hits.
That's fair
on each side.
Yeah, I see thematically how that model works now. But so talking today though about it. So it has like 4 D3 flamer hits whenever it gets within 6 inches of something, right? The Grot Gunner means you add 1 to the hits for attacks made with the Grot Blaster. So that's kind of a nice little annoyance at that range too. When it shoots, you throw pretty much everything at it. But you were talking about a stratagem that lets you fire and fade with vehicles.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So if I have something that with a 6-inch range is 4 D3 flamers, I can jump up, fire all my flamers, fade away.
Yeah.
And then people don't want to charge 4 D3 flamers.
No.
So I really enjoyed that combo with the boosted blast.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I could see that.
I mean, there's part of me that wants to just charge because of the spiked ram there. Like on a 4+, it gets D3 mortal wounds, which seems to be pretty common for a lot of the orc like things or the faster things.
Sure.
There. But I think there's more value in firing and fading and kind of being like an open target, like, yeah, come charge me. Or waste shots at me and ignore these other stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, the custom boosted blast, I think, is going to be slapped on a lot, especially because it's one of the 2 that are, quote unquote, only available in the Speed Freaks box right now.
And it's one of the cheaper buggies.
Yeah, it is. It's only like, 100 points or something like that?
It's right around 100 points.
Right around 100 points. The Megatrack Scrapjab is just point your shit at a vehicle.
It is 100 points on the dot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's worth it. It's the cheapest one. So I know people were thinking that these might be super cheap, but they're not.
They're fair price.
But I don't think that they're overpriced by a lot.
No.
So...
but yeah, we both enjoy the Megatrack Scrapjab.
It has +1 wound over a normal buggy too, so it's 9 wounds instead of 8.
And
it has +1 strength.
And the way I see it is, like I said, you point it at an enemy vehicle you want dead, and then you just move very quickly towards that vehicle.
Sure. And it has a power fist.
As a power fist, it's pretty much 100 points again. A little over 100 points.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just kind of charge it right at and again, for me, a Megatrack Scrapjet is a distraction unit.
Sure.
Much kind of like how I would use it is kind of much in the way that I would generally use like a distraction card effects. Is I'm going to charge 2 of them or whatever right up towards your most expensive unit. I'm going to be an asshole in pregame. I'm going to spend 3 minutes explaining exactly what it does to large vehicles. And I'm going to charge 2 Megatrack Scrapjets right at your largest vehicle. And the first thing you're going to do psychologically as my opponent is you're going to shoot at those vehicles.
Sure.
But while you're shooting at that, you're ignoring my war trike that's sitting in the mech station. You're ignoring the... You're ignoring the 60 boys they're kind of like walking up the field behind it. So yeah, I see them somewhat sacrificial, but again,
John takes the auxiliary choice war trike just for the relic.
Fuck yeah, just for that snake bite.
Oh man,
we're gonna have some 2 snake bite weird boys in there.
Yeah, right. So it's a supreme command now.
Yeah, it's a supreme command.
Oh, that's funny.
It's good times.
And it's great. It's got a lot of rockets. So it's got 2d3 rockets from the rocket cannon. And then it also has wing missiles, which are another rocket that gets +1 to hit against vehicle units.
Yes.
Which is nice.
Again, pointed at a vehicle.
Yep. Oh, totally.
Just go.
Stick it forward.
Several units got way better. I know in your notes here, Danny, you wrote changed units. But I feel way better is kind of just as accurate there.
Sure.
Flash kits.
So the flash kits went up by 3 points.
I feel they got more than 3 points of value.
I agree. So basically, their weapons changed to heavy 3, which is a little bit of a disadvantage. But it's their weapons got a lot better. They went up to strength 6, which is great because you can nuke toughness 3 units pretty easily with them because then they wound on 2s. Mm-hmm. And light vehicles, they wound on 4s, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And they went from, they're still -2 AP, but they're instead of 1 damage, they're 2 damage flat, which is really the huge boost to me.
Oh, for sure.
They still get to shoot twice if you roll a 6. And you can take 2 ammo grots, or 2 ammo runts for every, or 1 ammo runt for every 5 guys.
And they hit on 4s.
Yeah, they're naturally BS4, and the leader has a special squig that lets him hit on 3s.
And Kirk, I don't remember them being a 4-up save before.
No, I think they were.
Really?
Yeah, they have heavy armor.
Okay.
I think they've always had heavy armor.
I seem to remember losing them on 6s. and being really bitchy about having to take a battle wagon to keep them protected. But yeah, flash kits really good. Again, they went up 3 points, but +1 damage. The strength 6 of the gun, heavy 3. You're goddamn orc. You're hitting on 5s.
Sure.
Unless you're standing still, but you have a 24-inch range. So it's, regardless, really good.
Almost. So, and just to kind of go over.
No, in the index, flash kits had a 6-up save.
Oh, for real?
For real.
Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, they have a 4-up now, which is
so they have a 4-up now, which is just 3 points, extra strength, extra damage, 2 extra saves.
Yeah.
That's flash
really
kits
solid.
are really, really good.
Yeah, I think
Because I used to get super pissed because like when I love the flash kit models and I have like 10 of them all built and beautifully painted and loved, but I have to take a battle wagon with them every time because that t-shirt armor, they would just be ripped through every time so easily.
now you can stick him in cover
Yeah,
and just like sit on a 3-up.
that's
right?
so good. The battle wagon kind of
The battle wagon entry has changed.
it's
so they
kind
split
of
it up.
died.
Yeah, well, there's
little
still
bit.
a battle wagon entry, right? But they've split it into 3 different units. So it's now the battle wagon itself, which is like the transport option.
Right.
And then you also have the gun wagon and the bone crusher.
The gun wagon is the kind of version.
I'm sorry,
as
bone break.
The kill cannon, and also kind of the art top. So you can't shoot out of it, but it
Right.
has the kill cannon, which in this edition is way better. And then the bone crusher is the final return to glory of the death roller.
Oh, and also, sorry, the gun wagon. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
real quick?
yeah, for sure.
So it has a rule called Periscope, where it gets the Lehman Russ turret rule.
Oh, where it doesn't get minuses to hit when it moves.
No. If you move, if you don't move it or move
Oh,
half, you
yeah.
get to fire the turret weapon twice. So that could be the zap gun, the cannon, or kill cannon.
Which the kill cannon is now 3d6.
Just 1d6.
Oh, it's just a stomp with this 3d6.
But it's a flat 2 damage, which I actually like better than a battle cannon, I think.
Yeah, and again, getting the more dice you can roll, the better with orcs.
Did they have Mobile Fortress before?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and the battle wagon, you can give it the art top, and it's 0 points.
Right. But the downside for this is you won't be able to shoot out of it.
Right. It just goes up to toughness 8, which is nice. So, I mean, depending on how you want to use it, right? That's what matters. Now,
Because I know we were talking for kind of our team tournament list,
Uh-huh.
because like I have battle wagons. The benefit of kind of maybe our top bone breaker, kind of just pulling boys along and kind of filling up is great because you don't want to shoot out of there. But if you have
Sure.
something like a flash kit squad or like a Ludas or like a Burna squad,
right.
you're going to want to kind of keep that top off there.
For sure. Yeah, you want to keep
You
the
want to
top
keep the
off.
top off. Pop that top off.
Yeah, keep blast those pecs. All right, so the final one is the bone breaker, and this is basically the death roller version of
Yes.
and so it has a rule called bone breaker ram, where it gets to add d6 attacks to the model in the fight phase if it made a charge move. So if it's at full health, or at least half or more, it gets 6 attacks plus d6 if it charges with its death roller, which is now strength 9 minus 2 flat damage, and gets plus 3 to hit rolls, meaning it hits on twos. So like an average of 9 or 10 attacks hitting on 2s with strength 9 minus 2 damage. That's a decent assault unit.
That's surprisingly efficient. And again, because for a couple of editions they haven't been great, I think people are going to be very surprised by a death roller rolling up.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dreadnought. So all the different Dreadnought weapons got different profiles.
Yes.
So, and also this goes for Killicans. So the Buzzsaw, the Driller, the Can Claw are all different. I think the claws usually win out. They're usually the best option to take. Basically, like for the cans, the Buzzsaw gives you an extra attack. The Drill gives you a mortal wound on its wound roll of 6, and is minus 4 AP. But the Can Claw, while it's probably the most expensive option, is plus 3 strength, minus 3 AP, 3 flat damage. So it makes it strength 8, which is pretty good.
I would say the Dread Claw is the same.
Oh yeah, but the Dread Claw, there's also a Dread Saw.
Oh, the Dread Saw, yes, that is.
So the Dread Saw is, instead of times 2 strength, minus 3 flat.
Plus 4,
It's
2, 2.
plus 4, 2. Yeah, but it's 5 points cheaper. So just depending on what you want
Yeah.
out of them. But
I mean-
just keep that in mind when you're building it, right?
Right, because when we're talking about kind of our Evil Sons Dreadnought Attack Squad charging 3d6, if you need to fit everything in, then maybe like using the saw instead of the
I
claw.
think, yeah, it's worth it because they're still strength 9 with the saw, so
They're
that's plenty strong.
9, it's -2. There's still 2 damage each. With the rules, if you have 4 saws, that's going to be 6 attacks.
Yeah,
That's plenty to do damage, and you're saving 20 points.
it's plenty.
But it's funny. You got enough there.
And you can see, John, the rule for Dread Mob is in the actual unit entry, which means they all split up.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. That would
Yeah.
be cool if they got to stay
Mob
a family.
up. Yeah. I just want to keep my boys together.
And the Stompa is kind of like they went over that at GW, so
Yeah.
I don't want to touch on that again.
But you know,
its
the
weapon
killer
profile
cans
got-
don't split up. when
No.
They're going down.
they stay a unit.
Which might be beneficial.
How cool is this? So think about this.
But I guess the claw's only +3. But still, strength 8.
But they hit on 5s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
So
Trash.
here's what killer cans are cool at, right? If you teleport them in, it's a line of models that's like 18 inches long.
Yeah.
And so you can engage your opponent's whole army on, then they get to roll 3d6 for charges.
Yes.
So for the whole unit, so you can engage like a ton of stuff with them, and each one that dies gives you an opportunity to loot for one of your squads.
Oh, that's a really good thing. So yeah. So the idea was we teleport down this giant ass unit of cans. We on purposely multi-charge the opponent's entire army.
Right. Because they're still, how many wounds are they? Like 5 or 6?
Yeah, they're 5 wounds apiece.
Yeah.
So maybe some lucky last kind of shot takes one out. If they take one out, they're making your army better.
Yep.
And honestly, it's a grot in a can. Who gives a shit if it dies?
Right. And I don't think they're super expensive either.
No, they are not. Speaking of which, I mean, Dan, you're just on top of it with the segues today.
Let's talk about some points.
Let's talk about some points changes because there is some drastic changes in this book.
Yeah, there's some big ones.
The first one, boys are now 7 points, which
that's probably the biggest change.
that's the biggest change. That is an extra point a boy. Honestly, with how well they perform with stratagems and how the synergy goes, I think 7 is a really fair point value for them.
Yeah, I think with all the so basically what you're paying for instead of for 6 points, the +1 point pays for ability to get clans.
Yeah.
Because those are free rules that they get.
Right.
And the access to the stratagems. All of those things are all huge. So, and there's a lot of different combos that you can use with that. I mean, it makes them so much better. So,
Yeah, all your regular characters went up in points. So your Warboss is up 10. Your Painboy is up 12. Your Runtard is up 9.
okay.
And again, I think this is kind of talking about that synergy that you have with
Yeah.
the relics, with the clan cultures, with the stratagems.
For sure.
These are all very. Again, we spent about 2 hours now talking about how Warbosses can have 27 power claw attacks in one turn.
Yep. And totally fair they went up 10 points. Right?
Totally fair that went up 10 points in that.
The mech with the shock attack gun went down though, right?
No, same cost.
Oh, really? Okay. Do you have to pay for the shock
pay,
attack gun?
You have to pay for the shock attack gun. I think that's a misprint in the one we have because it says Big Mech with shock attack gun, and then when you go over to the shooting weapons, the shock attack gun is still 25 points.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So I think that's just meant supposed to say.
Basically stayed the same, yeah.
I think that's a misprint on 134 where they just meant to say Big Mech.
But Burner Boys went down too.
Burner Boys went down.
Commandos went down by a
Commandos
point.
went down.
Knobs dropped 3 points.
Knobs dropped.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
knobs for a second. I think knobs are one of the sneaky units in this that are going to be super powerful.
So you know why people hate knobs is because no one has self-control. So when Orc
Sure.
players are building their knob unit, they're like, okay, everyone's going to have a power claw and everyone's going to have this armor. And why are these 70 points each? Like, well, because you gave everyone everything. And that's not how best to run knobs.
right.
You know, there still has to be some chaff and everything there. And I think if it's run properly with I think I do like a 1 in 4 power claw distribution and kind of like you do the right weapon build outs,
Sure.
then they're good. But you have to be very stringent on where you spend your points.
Yeah,
with
like
knobs.
I would give 3 power claws to a unit of 10.
Yeah.
And that's plenty.
Yeah.
So I think that's really solid. And so, but dropping to 14 points and they have a 4-up armor save.
Yes.
Like,
Very good.
So good.
Flash kits went up, like we said, but everything is very deserved to get a 4-up armor save instead of a 6. Their gun got better.
Right.
They're just generally almost an auto include in an orc army now.
Def Coptas
Def Coptas went down 25 points. And they weren't bad before.
No, they're good. They're even better now.
They're even better now, and especially combined with the stratagem we talked about earlier, with the shooting at the fly, +1 a hit with rockets, hitting on 4s. Is just they are really, really, really good. Battle wagon, your main battle wagon, unmodified, went 41 points down. That's almost like a 25% reduction in points on a battle wagon. Your Gorkanauts, Morkanauts went down like 50 points. Stompas went down 50 points.
Yeah.
I know it isn't what some people were looking for Stompas, but like
that's something. And their weapons got so much better
so
too.
Much better. And I think I said on Facebook, someone said that that they got to be 600 points, otherwise they're not worthwhile. And I'm like, you want something that's 40 wounds, strength 20, so many like all this to be 600 points.
That doesn't. So okay. So basically, what they want is something with the offensive shooting capacity of a Castellan, in addition to having the close combat ability of a Gallant. Because
but also twice the wound capacity.
Right. So it has 14 more or
16.
Well, than a normal knight, but 12 more wounds than a
because they have 40 wounds
dominus.
Base. Right. Yeah.
But like, come on, guys. Like you've got to give it up somewhere. And everybody bitches that the Castellan is 600 points. So like, why would they make? Why would it be 6? That's a stupid argument. So like,
yeah. It's dumb.
And if you're one of our listeners and I called you stupid, I'm very sorry.
No, we're not. You're just be positive about it. Trucks went down 27 points.
Oh, that is great.
Death Dreads went down points. Killicans went down in points.
Killicans went down 11.
Yeah, and they were cheap to begin with.
Right.
Ghazghkull Thraka went down 20 points, which when combined with all of the stratagems, when combined with all of the other shit that they can do, combined with the psychic powers, he should not have dropped points at all.
Right.
But he dropped 20. Grotsnake dropped 14. Nice. And it's just, it's like the special characters dropped, the regular characters increased, and then it just seemed to be a lot of really solid adjustments in the center there. You can see they're kind of trying to encourage towards a speedier, kind of more mechanical force.
Yeah, because like the things that really went up in points, right, are the stationary stuff.
Right.
So like mech guns went up by a lot.
Yes.
Which, like, sorry boys, but they
were
those needed to go up. When it's not the mech gun itself went up.
It's the weapons.
The weapons all went up by like 15 or 20 points.
Yeah, custom mega cannons are now 45.
Yeah.
Which is so dumb.
And but the tractor cannons 30 now.
Yeah, they're expensive, but again, with all of the new buggies, with all of the new synergies available to you, I don't think mech guns are going to see a lot of play.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Because to me, your Orc force now, and this is kind of moving on to your next point here with our overview, your Orc force now is a very fast-moving, in-your-face army.
Sure.
So comparatively to other armies, Danny, where do Orcs fall?
So I think Orcs are definitely... I don't know that Orcs are super top tier, right? But that's just my inexperience with watching them play and not seeing what the combos are altogether. So I mean, I can look at the book and like the base power level of units and kind of get an idea for how good it is. Mm-hmm. But until I actually play against somebody competent on the table with it, I'm not sure that I'm going to like see the full impact of this in the meta. I think it's going to be big because I think that this army just shits all over knights.
It does.
And so like with all different kinds of things, I think it really does a good job at taking out knights, which is where the meta is. If you're good at that, you're going to be good at other stuff. Now, I don't know if they're going to be good against Eldar. I would like to see them be good against Eldar, but I'm not sure exactly like how this fares against Shining Spears and that kind of stuff.
Right.
Hopefully they're fast enough that they can just engage them and mess them up.
For me, I look at it and it's the options and the synergies and the combos. Like to me, the Ork Codex is way more wide open than Craft World Eldar over what I can do and how I can do it.
Okay.
For me, what I throw out, like if I face up against a Craft World Eldar army, right? I'm like, I have to take out the Shining Spears. I have to take out the Dark Reapers. My target priority is very obvious. With the stratagems and relics and things in this Orc book, my target priority is very muddied.
Sure.
If I have like 2 big units or 3 units of 20 boys, which is kind of what I usually ran before here, right? If I ignore those to take out the shiny toys around them, then they might be the strength 5 Scar boys.
Oh, for sure.
That get to my back line because I spent all my time shooting at shock dragsters or death killer trikes that are kind of buzzing around. And if you don't take care of those things, then, you know, it just,
they're going to eat you up.
they're going to eat you up. So to me, the reason this is a very high tier codex is because it really muddies the target priority, because the stratagems and the relics cover a lot of the gaps that might be left.
Well, the army is cheap altogether, right?
Right.
So you're going to get a lot of threat vectors. So like you have a lot of vectors for like redundancy. So you can have 3 units of 30 boys.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. That's not even that many points. That's like 600 points.
Yeah.
And so like having that many models in addition to having all of the toys involved with
Mm-hmm.
that is huge. And then like even if you shoot the boys, there's a chance they're going to say, well, I've got 30 grots in front of them. I'm just going to huck wounds off
Or
to the grots.
you get one squad down to 5 models. It was closer to another squad, so it was leadership 30.
Sure.
And then I'm just going to use a stratagem to make that entire squad appear on your side.
Right. Exactly. Oh, no, now I'm behind your army because you're...
So for like me, as
Sure.
looking at it as an Eldar player, right? So, and especially how I usually play Eldar, where I have kind of my mobile Dire Avenger, kind of mobile but inflexible Dire Avenger force with my rerolls and Azerman and things like that. I can take out this Orc unit, or I can take it down to one person, but it's almost to like Necron levels where if I don't take out that entire unit, then I am boned, because it is coming back and it's coming
Sure.
back at full
And
strength.
you didn't get a kill point for it.
And
either.
I didn't get a kill point for it. So like I said, I think they're really high up there. I think the danger is going to be a lot of players are going to fall into predictable traps. There's so many ways to build an Orc army. I'm scared that I think a lot of competitive players will fall into 1 or 2 builds.
Sure.
Whereas if you look at it, just even talking today, we found 2 or 3 different combos that neither of us had thought of that were really good.
Right.
And that's going to be the danger of people saying it's not a great book, because, you know, they try 1 or 2 things, it doesn't work.
I hear you.
Yeah, so it kind of moves on. What are some things in this book that Games Workshop really kind of nailed?
So I think they nailed the cultures pretty well. Like I think they really are thematic, and they fit with how they should be played on the tabletop. Like, yeah, snake bites are tougher than other orcs because, you know, they let themselves get bitten by snakes all the time.
Sure.
Right? Or death skulls are
Yeah.
lucky. They're actually lucky
Yeah.
in the game
They
too,
have
because
skulls
get
of death.
free rerolls. And and the blue paint helps. And then bad wounds are good at shooting, and goths are good at chopping.
But none of it seems
And-
overpowered.
No, that's great. And yeah, and I think that this, like, nothing in here, everything seems really good, right?
Mhm.
But nothing seems broken.
Right.
So, which is great.
What are some things that we wish they would have done better?
I think the mech workshop could have been a little bit better.
For sure.
And I think that's just typical of the way that GW is handling like fortifications for units. I don't think it's super well thought out.
No.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's definitely designed for opener narrative play. And I've had these
For sure.
conversations with people before when they're like, why are things phrased like this? Or why, well, it's like, well, there's 3 ways to play. They need to make it rule proof
That's
for
true.
all 3. And if you look at it, like, I feel I've made a mech workshop work.
You did, yeah.
But
Surprisingly.
it took a very specific build to make it work.
Sure.
It took having to take a detachment I would not normally take, because
2 detachments, right?
yeah, because snake bites aren't something I would usually take based
Sure.
on that. So that kind of fills up 2 of my slots. So yeah, does it work? It does, but it kind of takes a very specific build to make it work. But yeah, I agree. There could have been more done for that there.
Other than that, I like most of the units, and I'm fine with the point changes that they made. Like it doesn't. Well, first of all, like I'm kind of starting fresh again with orcs, so like it doesn't affect any of the build that I have in mind because I'm building from scratch. But I can understand where people would be frustrated about 7-point boys. But like at the same time, like quit it. Like
Right.
they're so good for what their points are.
I have a unit of 30 boys. If they all go up 1 point, I have to drop 4 boys. I still have 26 boys.
Exactly. So
You
yeah,
know.
just make do, guys.
And again, everything you can do with them, those 26 boys are going to do way more than those 30 boys could.
For sure.
And like I said, it's just a really solid book. What we love about the book, I love that, again, there's no one build. This is another example of GW writing rules and writing books where there isn't a single mono build kind of out there. Or kind of one that stands out as better than the others.
Sure.
And there's not one clan that stands out as better than the others. Because while, yeah, we're like, yeah, I love Death Skulls, you like the Bad Moons because we can do this and this and this. And we're like, yeah, but what about this here? And that kind of opens up like a whole new window. Like looking at this, I can't guess what a top tier army is going to look like. I mean, I can guess components of it,
Sure.
You know, you can generally guess the core of what it's going to be, but that extra 1,000, 1,200 points, Jesus, I don't know what it's going to be. And that's really, really good. And that's, again, why that puts that book up there for me, because I don't know what to prepare against.
So what I really love about this book is I love the way that it encapsulates the way that orcs should play on the table.
Right.
And what I'm saying in this way is, like, this army is brutal. It doesn't have a ton of tricks. Like, it has a couple, but it doesn't have, like, it's not like Eldar or Dark Eldar or Harlequins or something like that that's actually really tricky.
Where I have to specifically make sure I'm an X amount of inches away from you. Otherwise, the 17 command points I'm about to spend are going to be wasted.
Exactly. This army is a spiked fist that punches you in the face until you're dead. Like, and it's a horde army that excels in close combat. Like, that is the way this army is built, right? But the other horde army that excels in close combat, Tyranids, plays a way more finessey, organic game that kind of, like, there's falling back and assaulting and moving super far and then moving back out of combat and hitting stuff and running away and, like, and having, like again, the Tyranid army plays very organically compared to the Orc army that's straightforward.
You just run it forward and punch shit.
Yeah, and they just punch stuff. And either it's too much for you to deal with, which is the idea behind playing Orcs, or it's not. And you manage to, like, you know, squeeze out a Pyrrhic victory by being able to kill a couple of key squads, and like you can because you're gonna die. Like, your stuff is gonna die. They're gonna get into combat with you. They're that fast and they hit that hard that if a few guys, like, even like 10 boys, if 10 boys gets you, that's 30 attacks.
Yeah. And, like, I look at it as well, especially the way the new book is. They're going to be a fast element to every army that's going to tie up key units turn 1.
Oh, for sure. Like,
there's going to be a slower element that's going to kill your units turn 2.
Yep.
So kind of just dealing with that is, and again, after Knights and kind of the Castellan meta, and kind of like the Imperial soup meta, this seems to, like, be like almost a direct counter to it, because
man, it's just it just runs up and beats your face in so hard.
Because it's like the Castellan's like, I have this Call's Wrath plasma cannon. I'm like, sweet, 3 guys are dead. These guys are going to keep moving on.
Right. Exactly.
And you're like, oh shit. Oh, okay. I guess I'll aim at the strike then. You're like, okay.
Yeah, that was 100 points. Like,
all right, let's move this like 600 points of boys up here more. Oh, by the way, the like 400 attacks coming your way.
Have fun dealing with that. Oh, you can fall out of combat? Too bad I've made enough. Too bad I put enough boys around so you can't actually leave.
Yeah,
have fun with that, jerk. So, like, again, like, they have nailed the way that this army should be played.
Yeah, this is an Ork Codex I've waited for literal years. Since at least 5th or 6th edition.
It is by far the most competitive Ork Codex since 3rd edition with Speed Freaks.
Yeah.
So, like, and that was a good book, but this is better.
Yeah, for sure. And it works competitively. It works narratively. It works open playly. It's not a word about it. It works well because all of the rules are thematic. They make sense. They're strong. They're powerful. They never feel overpowered. But again, I think we're going to see a lot of Orc armies coming through. Yeah. And it's a very exciting time because it is a great book and it kind of continues the theme.
I'm so excited to see what builds people come up with because there's so many options and ways to play this that it's going to be a little crazy for a bit.
Yeah. Okay. So this podcast releases Saturday the 28th. Yeah. Well, whatever this Saturday is.
I think it's the 27th.
Yeah, 27th. It's available for pre-order now. If you're an Orc player or if you're Orc curious, you need to get yourself a copy of this book
for sure
because it is a great book. I think it's a very forgiving army, which is important. Something kind of like a Craftworld or Eldar is not forgiving because if you make 1 or 2 mistakes, your army's dead.
I think this is a great army for beginners.
This is a great beginner army because you have a lot of great units and your main tactic is run forward.
Yep, and punch stuff.
But in saying that, there's still finesse with the stratagems, with the relics.
I mean, close combat is a very finessey phase, so
Yeah.
like getting the most out of that is going to take a lot of skill.
Yes, absolutely. If you have any questions, please let us know at Twitter.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at MobRulesJohn. The embargo is dropped, so Danny and I can actually talk
For
about
sure.
the book.
Yeah, and you can find me at Villicate5 if you have any questions. I'd be happy
Right,
to
right.
answer.
We'd be happy to answer them. Again, we're obviously not going to send you the whole book, but we're excited to finally be able to answer questions about it and not just kind of getting mad at people getting stuff wrong because they know.
I've been like, it's been so hard
it's
to
been
like
so
not
hard.
talk about it. So, but
We want to thank Games Workshop for letting us kind of
man.
review this
Thank
book.
you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. This was kind of a super great book. It continues the slight power creep of 8th, I feel, but it's kind of like a gentle power creep.
and I think that if they come out with a new Space Marine book and Chaos Space Marine book and Grey Knights book, I think that it puts people on parity again.
Yeah, it's very balanced, very thematic, and it plays differently. We've now talked for about 2 hours and 20 minutes about the new Ork Codex. I hope you've enjoyed this bonus episode of Mob Rules, which
Yeah,
is
buddy.
like 50% longer than our regular episodes because we haven't had to get Dave back to bed. For Mob Rules, I've been John,
I've been Danny.
and we'll catch you next week.